What's up, everybody? Hey, good Sunday evening to all of you. What's up? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Steve, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you doing, Ruben? It's good to be on the channel. We've been going back and forth for a little bit, and I'm glad my son went away to camp for a week, and I've got some free time, so that's
perfect.
That's
Wow. You didn't even mention that. That's now I see why you managed to get the perfect timing. Wow.
He left yesterday, and we'll be gone for a week, so it's a good time to just. And I see Rob's on there. Rob, I'm sorry to disappoint you that Stuart will not be showing up tonight. So maybe next time or around some other
time. So everybody, yeah, thank you for being here. Apologies, of course, for being a couple of minutes late. I wanted to get right into the promos for our friends and their channels, if you guys don't mind. So please bear with me, just because I actually selected. And to make it official, yes, as always, or as usual, I was the selector of the pieces tonight. Steve doesn't know what I selected, has no idea. So as always, it'll be a surprise to him as we show them. And because of that, I not only selected them, but I selected 5 more than usual. And so we'll need a little bit, more time. And in fear of having this become another 4+ hour episode, I do want to try to get into this as quickly as we can. Although to be honest, I don't know how easy that's going to be, because I'm looking right now, and Steve, you must have brought your entire group of Facebook friends, family, relatives. Like
they're all cousins. Every single one of them is a cousin of mine. So hopefully you got a few guys that you don't normally see, but do know. Like some old friends might be on there for you.
I would hope so. I would hope so. It's all good. I'm just like, I'm looking at the amount of comments that are already in there, and I'm like, what? I'm never going to be able to handle all that. But let me do the promos, everybody, so that I can get to the comments. Holy smokes. Okay, everybody. Carl, our friend Carl Sodergren, from the channel Carl's Collection, put out 2 videos this week. The first one being an unboxing. So let me give you a direct link to that. There's the first link. That's an unboxing. I always like to keep it a secret. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And he just put out another video, which was his series Bagged and Boarded, talking about the books that he has picked up from the comic shop this week. So let me jump in there. Ruben, the promo. That's right, Kavi. I try my best. And once you get up and running and redoing content, I'll be adding you to the group. So there you go. And all right, so that's the second one for Carl. And okay, what else we got? So you guys remember, what is it? A couple of weeks ago, I think it was. I talked about a video that our friend Matt had posted on his channel. Matt Kennedy, for those of you who don't know, and it was labeled, "Is art school a scam?" So hopefully some of you tuned into that. It was really, really interesting. So now he's done a follow-up to that, sort of a follow-up, called "How Much Does an Art Career Cost?" So for those of you always interested in, what it takes to become an artist, blah blah blah, really informative and interesting stuff. So do check out that one especially if you watched his previous show, and because it's related. And the link to that is right here. I'm putting it in for you there. All right. So there's Matt, and then it was a busy week. So Lee Parmenter. Sorry, Lee. I don't know if you're in the chat yet or not. But we'll find out soon enough. I'm going to put in Lee's video that I just watched it yesterday. I believe it just posted yesterday. It's inexpensive heritage auction wins. And you guys know I've talked about that a lot, in sort of answer to all the people who complain that, everything's expensive. You can't really collect anything anymore. And I always say, I do understand those complaints, but I always say, if you broaden your horizons enough, there is still inexpensive art that can be had. Nice art too. And this is a really great example of that. So if you want, check that out to see what I mean. And that's Lee's channel. That's right here. It's only, I think, less than 8 minutes. So worth watching. There you go. That's the direct link there for that one. And then I believe there's, after that, I believe there's just one more. And that is, man, I hope I got this right. I hope I got this right, everybody. If this is not the right link, this may be to last week's Friday. This may be Friday's show, but it's for Nikki B. Everybody knows I'm always helping Nikki B promote his show. Here we go. Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Every Friday, by the way, 4 o'clock Pacific. Please check that out. It is a talk show / art sale show. And sometimes it is filled with very affordable art, entry-level type stuff. But it does run the gamut, and you can often get mid-range as well as high-end art. So please check that out. And somebody feel free to let me know if this is the old link to last week's. That means I couldn't find the one from this week's. But anyways, while you're there, I guess you can find this week's episode if it has already been scheduled. So, okay, there you go for that. Let me take a double check, everybody, to make sure that I've covered all my friends' YouTube channels. Understand art, nothing from Mike. Yeah. So we're good with that. Let me now check and say hello to everybody. And holy crap. Okay, I'm going to do this quick without popping things online. All right. Jason Ladwig, thank you for coming in, the first one. And sorry you couldn't be here as well either. Very rare for you, but thanks for dropping in and hitting the like. I appreciate you and hopefully see you next week. Mr. Red Jack, thanks as always for the warm welcome to everybody. The Rickster, what's up? Good evening to you. Number one Werewolf fan, what is up, Tom? CJ Design, as always. Okay, you're saying hello to my friend Steve, so I got to include that one onto the screen for sure. The Collector versus the Vitch.
The Vitch.
And by the way, I noticed, Steve, that you changed your calf name to split it up so that people understand it should be pronounced David.
It wasn't entirely that. There was this moment of it was like a lot of people were talking about, should you put your real name on CAF? Should you, with the collection you have? And mine was just Steve D for a while. And then I found out, and even close collector friends were like, oh, I thought that was Steve Donnelly.
Oh.
And they wouldn't comment on my art because they thought it was Donnelly. So I went from Steve Davich to Steve D to Steve Davich. And I left it at that. And hopefully, they recognize it's that. But I mean, really, if you look at my collection, that's not a Donnelly collection by any amount.
Rob says, what's up, Rob? I thought it was going to be Stuart Davich. Who's Stuart Davich?
That's the kid at camp.
He thought I was going to do a show and tell with his son.
Rob seems to be a big fan of Stuart, especially off of Facebook. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. Nice. A lot of adults don't like kids, so at least he likes kids.
There's one. It's Rob. It's just Rob, but
just Rob. And Hart says he thought Steve Martin was showing up. Oh,
thanks, Hart.
Does that mean you're disappointed, Hart, or are you happy that we kicked Steve Martin out and brought in Mr. Davich instead? Look at that, Kavi. Kavi's like, Davich or Davich?
People really want to pronounce it Davich. They want it to be more foreign sounding, but really, I think off the island it was just Davich. They said that was the easiest way to do it, so it's Davich.
Okay, so what is the official, let's say you didn't Americanize it, what should it be?
Oh, I have no idea because I grew up with it. But I always thought it. People really want it to be Davich. So maybe it was. Really? I have no idea. Growing up, it was Davich, Croatian, name. But in my head, I was like, I bet you it was more foreign sounding. And then when they, my great grandparents went through the island, and you hear these stories of everybody's name being more Americanized or easier to pronounce, they might have changed it. But I could be making that up.
Yeah, I would have figured something like that, and they would have just said right, because in Croatian, it's probably pronounced Davich, and right, and since it ends in that, even in Croatian, it ends in that ch sound, right, and they step up to the, to that person behind the table, name Davich, huh?
No,
The right, so they add the H to make the right, because usually the CH sound in Croatian is just the C. There's no H to it, right?
Right.
So they probably just added the H themselves. So, but all right, listening to Danzig Lost Tracks just today. I don't know why you're mentioning that though, Rick. We want Stuart. Oh, my wife is welcoming you. There you go, Steve. She's always here. Having dinner with the family. We'll join you in an hour. So sounds good, Michael. Thank you very much. And now you're in there. Oh, yeah, Kasra's here. Stuart may be gone, but his bedtime is still 9 p.m.
I think he's talking about me. My bedtime is 9 p.m.
Yeah.
But I'll stay up for you guys.
Speaking of the devil,
Rob,
what's up, Rob?
Mystery Collector.
What's up in Ontario? Nice statues. I don't see the statues. Where barely. Yeah, there you go.
Barely.
Kind of hard
he knows
to see.
What they are. Javi knows.
The Rickster says, hello. Need a crib tour of the collection, Steve. Yeah, you can go visit him. Marcus, extra long show. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully not. I know. Why does Davich look like it's a hostage situation?
That's Jason's way of flirting.
Yeah, the little My Little Pony arts. It's coming up, Hart. It's coming up. Hey, Kenneth, good to see you here. Good evening to you. Hart, okay, everyone. I saw your pictures, man. Okay, talking your side conversations. Steve would look great with mutton chops, says Tom. Because he's got
a little longer. I guess.
Yeah. You always have tended to keep longer sideburns, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Forever. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So that's I can see what he means by that. Yeah, that's the more there is here, you kind of sense like it needs to start continuing to have become mutton chop.
I'll work on that. I'm sure my wife will love it.
Please don't. That's what I would say. Please don't. Jello, what's up, John C? Good to see you. Yes, promo for sure. If new in just to see Steve. Oh yeah, if you're new and you're just here to see Steve, yeah, please hit the like for poor me.
A like is a like, Ruben. A like is a like. Doesn't matter where. Doesn't matter where it comes from.
Yeah, I'm pointing to it somewhere beneath where I'm pointing. There's a little thumbs up icon. Hit that, whatever, if you want. Have a good dinner, Michael. Yes, I sort of already has mutton chops. He does. Oh, sorry, that's mine. Kasra told him because he hear the Modam page might be featured. The Modam page.
Got a Captain America page with Modam in it, and as we know, Mr. Gandalf.
Oh, yeah, the female Modok.
Yeah, and that's been.
Is that her name?
Yeah, Modam.
That's her actual name?
Yeah. Kasra will probably be able to tell you what the acronym is. I actually don't know that, but yeah, it's Modam, which is kind of awesome. Like the 90s didn't care. The 90s they whatever they could throw against the wall, and they just let them do. Marvel just didn't give a shit what happened in Captain America, at least for about 5-6 years.
I'm just saying because I remember when I was like 12, 13, probably 13, and I was reading Hulk, and that was my first introduction to Modam. But I haven't read those comics since they came out, right? So that's like 40 years ago or 41 years ago. And I have no memory of her having a name. I just remember thinking, oh, this is stupid. Like a female MODOK with a lipstick and everything. Like, what the hell's happening here? I thought it was ridiculous, And I was 13, and at that age, I still thought it was ridiculous. Usually when you're like 12, 13, practically anything you see in comics is cool to you, right?
Right. And then you get to the point you're like, no. But now let's look at it, 30, 40 years later, you're like, this is kind of ridiculously fun. Like you could go back and be like, it could become a guilty pleasure. Yeah.
Right?
Like when they turned Captain America into a werewolf, I was like, this is silly. But now I'm like, this is kind of awesome, but it took decades to get there.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I used to be a disliker of silly stories, like humorous type stories, anything that wasn't canon. I used to, as a youngster, hate that because I was
Assistant Editors Month was.
Well, no, see, that's okay. It was okay at the time. For me, that was like an exception to the rule because it was for a 1 month sort of funny special. Okay, whatever. Let's have some fun 1 month. It's okay. But like, like for example, my best example would be like the 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, especially DC stuff like Superman or Batman, but especially Superman. It was just silly, nonsensical.
One shot, he turns
just right, single issue, right?
His head gets purple and 10 times.
Yeah. But I will say I don't read those. I haven't got back like into reading them lately. But every now and then, when people post art from those types of books, I love looking at it.
I think it's as a kid you could be like, that's not for me. I wanted something a little more serious or something. But I think, like I said, decades later, I would like if somebody gave me a collection of Jimmy Olsen books to read now, like, an essential or something, I'd read it and I'd probably enjoy it. But 12-year-old me would be like, I ain't reading that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's it. I think a lot of us, as we age, and we've read the gamut of stuff that's out there, your tastes change and the way you view things changes, and it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. I'm more easygoing now about, I don't care about, they've changed the actual universes, Marvel, DC so much and so many times over the years. Like, no kidding. I don't care about that anymore. Like, so I've done kind of a 180 reversal where I prefer to read things that are out of continuity and they can just do a nice, fun, standalone story. I don't care that it's not canon. I don't care as long as it's a good story. And on somebody's recommendation a couple of years back, I read 5 years worth of this thing called Injustice, which apparently was based on a video game from DC.
Was that Tom Taylor? Did Tom Taylor?
Yeah. And
I haven't read it, but I like Tom Taylor. If you like Tom Taylor, read his Nightwing book is really good.
Right. That's what I heard. That it's a fantastic Nightwing book, and I was like, whatever. I don't know if I want to read. I like Nightwing and Titans, but I don't know if I want to read him solo. Whatever. Then my friend was like, "Oh, read Injustice if you like epics with a ton of characters in it." And it's about basically, not that it hasn't been done before, but Superman. What if Superman went evil? What if he turned evil? Somebody that powerful. And it was like an epic 5-year-long saga, and I loved it. Like, I don't care that it's not a part of the DC universe, whatever. Just a long 5-year-long great story I found. Enjoyed the art, enjoyed the story. That's what I like to read now, Jeff Singh says, here to witness the greatest moment in Steve's life. Wow.
I mean, it really does. I have my marriage, the birth of my son, and now this.
Now this, right? Yeah. A not too distant third, right? So funny. Good to see you. I'm happy to see that you're already back from work, Jeff. And Jeff, I know you're waiting for me to get back to you as to when I can visit again. I still haven't spoken to my sister, just FYI. She took off. She's in BC for a wedding, blah, blah, blah. I'm hoping to speak to her tomorrow, hopefully, and then hopefully I can give you an answer. Yeah. See, it's cool. I love being able to just have personal, quick conversations with people, even while we're doing a show made for the
It's
public.
now a good time to tell Kasra he owes me money.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like, hey, I need that money back, Kasra. There. It's good.
That's funny. And we got somebody who you brought along, I'm sure. Spaceman Spiff. No? You know who that is by any chance? You must know.
No, I don't. Maybe
Don't
I
recognize
do.
Spaceman Spiff. Okay. Well, Spaceman Spiff, you can tell us who you are.
It might be my friend Matt, but he's got glasses on and a skull. But I don't know. If it's not Matt, I don't know. Say hello, Matt.
Good day, David. Good day. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in as always. Appreciate you. Steve's PMs will never be correct. PMS will never be correct. Nice. He loves your hat. I think because of it's wearing out. Actually, isn't that the same hat you have had for like ever?
Yeah, this is. Yeah. I almost tend to get another one, and I'm just really comfortable in this one. And Alberto's right; it is fraying. It's time to get another one. I have to pull the trigger and spend another $15.
But I understand we all have that article of clothing we just love. We're comfortable, right? And you keep it as long as you can. Listen, I used to walk around in public with a pair of jeans, and this happened actually at least twice, if not 3 times, and don't ask me why it always tears there. I don't know, but the crotch, I
was gonna make a joke about that, but you just went ahead and did it. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know how, whatever. I guess you can't, like, it starts in the thighs, because I guess the thighs rub together, so that wears out, but then somehow it goes to the crotch, and I literally had like the crotch completely open, and I'd sit around people's houses and shit, and I'd have my legs up like that or whatever, and you'd see my underwear, right? My whole underwear.
I think we just lost 15 people, Ruben. We just lost 50, but then we gained 35, so it was weird.
Oh yeah, so that's it. And I just kept using them because like they're comfortable. What can I tell you? But I want to say because Alberto mentions this. Yes, I forgot to mention that Nick will not be hosting the EXP this Friday, but James Siegel and friends will be here. I'm assuming selling art, taking over for the art selling that Nick does. So there you go. But James can certainly attest to whether that is correct or not.
I did find if somebody can't do something, they just call James. James is always ready to back someone up on anything. Just be like, can I be on YouTube? Yes, go ahead. James is ready to go.
Well, there you go. Nick, just eating healthy, Chick-fil-A. Okay, more side combos. Nick is going to get every VXP viewer a ticket for the boys' autograph meet and greet. I don't know, man. I don't know. Evening. What's up, Carl? There you go. I did your promo. You came in a little late, but there you go. It's been done. Who else we got? A little known fact. Barucci plays Black Noir on the boys. Haven't watched it. Chick-fil-A is closed Sundays. You eating? Okay. You talking about Chick-fil-A now? That's okay. Hello, Steve says, coming our Boston. Good to see you again. I am dropping by to register my leg, and you cannot stay. We get it. May be able to drop by again later. Would like to see that, Comic Art Boston. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, my friend. And okay, let me. I'm going to skip over the hellos to each other. That'll save me time. Say hello to the people we haven't said hello to. Coming in late, Peter Rowe. What is up, sir? Good to see you. And let me see. Chuck Arnold. What's up, Chuck? Good to see you. It's not what I would call growing a beard. It's more like just too lazy to shave today. That's the honest truth. Let's see. Hi from everybody. Hellos all over the place. Copy says Steve Martin will be next week. Yeah.
His huge art collection.
I don't know if he's important enough to be on my show. I don't know. He asked, and I said, we'll see, Steve. Let me get back to you on that. So he's still waiting for me to get back to him. What we got? The pronunciator, the foreign language expert. Ruben is a linguist. Hi, Mickey, a cunning one at that. The cunning linguist. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Mike? Evening to you. I work at 23andMe. How do you know I don't own it? Aloha, 247 Comics. What's up? And I am tired already of Steve. Can we invite another guest on the show? That's
Alberto's a real jerk, by the way. Just a real thorn in my side constantly.
I know, he's always shit disturbing every time he comes in here. Does Stanley asking that? What's up, Stanley? Does Steve?
I saw that picture, and I don't know what made you ask that. I don't own anything by Assad Ribic. I do like his Thor work, but yeah, I like him. But I never thought I needed to own anything by him, if that makes sense.
There you go. Well, you should know, Steve, that Stanley tends to, he's impatient. He's one of the more impatient guys here. He shows up all the time, but he doesn't appreciate the back and forth banter too much. So when he loses patience, he lets us know by asking a question to whoever my guest is for that week, so we can get the art talk going. So that's his way of telling us that without trying to be too rude about it. That's okay. We love him anyways, And all right, man, there's so many. Man, you're a popular guy, Steve. Holy shit.
Good.
Watching the show.
Thanks for coming and thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, man. Ruben, the Madam Web fan. I don't know why you said that, but I did not watch that. Because of the whole MODOK and Madam thing, lipstick and anti-BJ. Nice, Kasra.
I take it you didn't pick that Captain America Modam page. I'm gonna guess.
I'm pretty sure I didn't, but I tend to be full of surprises, so I may have something along those lines that would, excite people and you too. So
okay, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. Let's wait and we'll see what that's all about. And people, stop talking so much. Modem, all heads. That's why a lot of gorillas and monkeys in 60s DC. Exactly. No hand exercises. Okay, no. Oh my God, you guys are what? There he is. There's James. Look at that. Okay. And of course, I was still 8 minutes ago. Got to catch me up, people. Let's see. Why is he reading DC? Will get rebooted in a year. Yeah. What can I tell you? Well, that was a few years ago anyways. Played the Injustice video game. Never read it. Worth a read. That's all I could say. A lot of fun. I enjoyed it all the way through, even though it was 5 years long. I thought it was pretty awesome, actually. Nightwing said something funny to insult Jason. There you go. Go ahead and do it. Just saying, Ruben is going to get excited. You're going to get excited, Jeff. You're for the world's foremost Nightwing fan that you are. Okay, what we got? Oh, somebody new. Oh, no, that's your buddy from before. Tim. He says it's Tim. Spaceman Spiff is Tim.
Oh. Hi, Tim.
Who? He still doesn't know.
No, I don't know.
Tim who? Do I know you or does Steve know you?
I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to feel bad. Oh, I know Tim Ward. Oh, my God. A really, really good friend of mine from high school.
My God.
It took me a second. Sorry, Tim, with the big glasses. Thank you for showing up, man. That's really, really cool. I did not expect you. Yeah, we were best friends in high school for a couple of years. Yeah, there, I got it. So, yeah. Thanks,
that
Tim.
was him, right? Okay, good. And so James is letting us know that Rob Gomez, he of the AKA Wolvie fan, and Michael McIsaac, the good Irish lad, will be on with him in place of Nikki B on Friday. So check that out. Will James use a slide? Okay, I'm not going to go there. I got to catch up, fellas. Got to catch up. And he's having artist guest Rob Guillory on from Chew, the comic book that got James back into reading comics. So there you go. Have some fun this Friday, everybody. And yeah, James, an attention hog. Okay, letting it all hang out. You're still talking about my jeans because, of course, this was minutes ago. Okay, delayed. Hello from Chicago. There's another Chicago man. Yep. What is up?
From Chicago. He's at the Chicago get-togethers.
Yeah, there you go. Good to see you. And who else we got? Oh, John C. wants to know if you can play the banjo. I don't know why he's asking that.
Yeah. He wants to get the banjo talk. Oh, Steve Martin again. You got there. We're making the connection. All right.
Have a good work shift, Mark. I appreciate you. You've been busy lately, by the way. Myrtle needs to read more DC and lighten up. That's true. I agree. Yes, exactly. Jerk in public have made it. James will pull out the XXX amateurs card to boost Friday's show ratings. This from Alberto is the highest compliment. The Steve prefer. There you go. Stanley's back. Does Steve prefer commissioned or published?
I answered in the chat. You'll get to it.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay. And speed read. I am. Okay. Enough with the jokes. I'm going to skip the jokes now. And try not to type that fast. Okay. There you go. And look at that. Tim.
Yep, we're getting it.
There you go. Exactly. Thank you, Tim. There you go. That's so funny.
Thanks, buddy.
Stayed for long. I appreciate it. I always appreciate you, Cab. You know that. And thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, it's the 50th. Steve gets the honor of being the 50th. So that's awesome. And I appreciate you. A great save. That's old, so don't know what that means. But thank you, Corey. Good to see you, by the way. And here we go. Okay. The same jokers making jokes. Chew. Love that series. And I'm just a couple of comments away, everybody. Stanley should be packing in the chat at the start and not trying to extend it at the end. That's right. I agree, Marcus. That's a good advice. Oh, that man thing, PMS, Peace, Steve.
Wait.
PMS.
Paul Smith.
Oh, the Paul Smith. Paul Smith.
It's hard to do that watching the screen, but I can do that right there.
And Hart says, does Stanley like long walks on the beach or girls with loose morals? Answer that one, Stanley, for a change. You get to answer one. Okay, Ruben is caught up, so it's time to head off to dinner. Yeah, thank you, Alberto. Thank you. I'll be back in a little bit to catch up. Sounds good. And okay, everybody wants to know where your dog is, by the way. Are you showing the dog?
Upstairs. My wife's upstairs. If my wife's upstairs, the dog's going to stay there.
Okay.
Sorry, Jason.
That's good. There you go. Yep. All right, everybody. Let us get on with the show now that we're caught up. Stanley prefers van girls. Is that what it is? Okay. All right, Steve.
What that is.
Before we actually get into the art, if you could take maybe no more than over the next 10 minutes, maybe just give us a little background. I always like to know, just to let everybody get to know you a little bit. Just in terms of having become a comic book fan, how you discovered, at what age you discovered comic books, and how and when that eventually led to you becoming or discovering original art and becoming an original art collector, if you don't mind.
Sure. I mean, comics have been around ever since I can remember. And I want to say basically they were around because they were cheap. It was something my dad or my grandparents could buy me that were 50 to 60 cents and hand to me. I grew up watching, reruns of the Spider-Man cartoon, was really involved with that, really liked the Super Friends. So I was always gravitated towards superheroes. The one I can remember most of all is every time we would go to Wisconsin, my grandparents would buy us one of those 3-packs of comics that were sealed, and the one was in the middle. And they'd hand it to us, but we were told we couldn't open it until the trip. And I remember always trying to bend it a little bit to see which one was in the middle, because I was allowed to hold it. I just couldn't open it. But the one I remember, the one that hooked me, and I'm not going to remember the issue number, but there was an issue of the Fantastic Four where they're on the Skrull homeworld, and they go to, they sentence the Fantastic Four to death. Everybody but Johnny, and they shoot him with a gun. And I think both issues were in the thing, and instead they start turning older. They start aging incredibly, and the covers are really great. They look like they're dying, and they're old. And I remember reading and I was hooked. That's what hooked me and made me want to start getting one right after the other. So,
by the way, would this have been the late 70s, perchance?
I'm 51 now. And
you're 51. So yeah, what age did this happen at?
This could have been maybe when I was about 10, I would say, maybe.
Okay.
But let's look at it this way. Like I said, if I would have looked up the issue number in the year, but I don't have it in front of me right now. But those packs were on the shelves for a while, so comics in those packs could have been 2-3 years old by the time you got those cellophane.
That's possible, yeah.
There were never new stuff. There was always shit in there that they couldn't sell. So and sometimes the middle one was always just a bad book. It was like you would get a DC book in there. Sorry, but sometimes you would get like a DC book nobody wanted, and they'd put 2 Marvels on the side.
I didn't know that you could mix both companies. I thought. So who was packaging these things? I thought it was
no idea.
Oh, okay.
It was just they would just pack. I think some were all Marvel and some, but they would mix them up definitely, because I remember getting stuff in the middle that I didn't care about. But that was where I was hooked, where I was like, I want to get consecutive books. But that wasn't in the cards for me because I was young and didn't have any money. So it was only when they decided they were going to buy books. So I did get a lot of those value packs of 3 because they were always like 3 comics for $1. And then later on, when I started getting my own money, I remember I started getting Spider-Man around the time the Hobgoblin showed up. And that's where I was hooked. And I would go ride my bike to Walgreens, and every week, because I didn't understand how comics came out, looking for the next issue, trying to figure out who. And I remember getting like the one with the Lakeside tattoo. The Hobgoblin issue was the first appearance of the Hobgoblin, and it had the Lakeside tattoo. So during that time,
I just want to add that was my very first. That's how I started collecting Amazing Spider-Man with the 238.
Yeah. And I remember being able to get a couple issues before that, just finding them he fought Vulture in those issues. And I actually have a page from one of those issues that I'm just excited to be getting something around that time. So that's where I started consecutively getting comic books, and that merged into collecting comics with my cousins. Once in a great while going to a comic book show, them opening in Highland, Indiana, a comic book shop that I could ride my bicycle to and get comics every week, and then come home and hide them under my shirt, because my grandmother was kind of like, you stop spending your money on comic books. So I could only be like, I bought 1, but then I would hide like 3 of them under the shirt. And so all my money went towards comic books, anywhere from age 12 to maybe 15 or 16. It was just nonstop. And I didn't stop getting books, then. By the way,
Cab is online, and he's saying he's doing the research for us. He claims that the issues you're talking about are 213 and 214. Is that possible?
That sounds right. That sounds 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That would be, I think that's 79.
Okay, that makes sense. If I was 10 and they were a year behind.
Yeah.
No, I was 10. It would have been 83. So, but yeah, I remember those issues. But like I said, they were in the pack, so they were probably repackaged.
And since
I got a lot of Judo Master in those backpacks.
Yeah, and since we don't know who was packaging them, who's to say that is it possible that sometimes you could have had comics that were like 3 or 4 years old? Is that possible? I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. They were trying to sell the books that wouldn't sell. So whoever would take the books that didn't sell from Walgreens, they went somewhere, and then they got repurposed and brought back out at much cheaper.
Right.
At that time.
Yeah, #1 Marvel fan. So Tom says he would get a lot of Charlton comics in those bag packs. And Marcus earlier said, the worst was sometimes in the middle, you'd get stuck with like a gold key,
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
I don't remember those because I didn't care, so they just got put off to the side. But yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. CJ was busy hiding Playboys at the time. You were ahead of us. You were a man ahead of your time.
That's a whole other conversation. Then, so I collected during high school, kind of still always got Spider-Man, still always got X-Men. But then went to college and kind of dropped off like a lot of people because I needed to buy beer. So it was beer money or buying comic books. So I chose beer money. So around the time right after, I would say like Jim Lee's X-Men came out, I remember getting those issues, but everything kind of after that, I dropped out. I was just out of it for a while. At Ball State University, yeah, you can make fun of the name, in Muncie, Indiana, they did have a used bookstore, and I was able to get they had real cheap Vertigo books. So I remember getting things like Sandman Mystery Theater around that time and older Sandman books, and they just had a ton of like really cool Vertigo books for real cheap. So I do remember picking some of those up, but anything that was more modern, I wasn't able to get. And then a little bit later on, fast forward, Preacher came out. And I don't remember how Albert sold Preacher books, original art, but I loved it. And I found out for $40, I could buy original page of Preacher art. So that was the first, I ordered 2 of them. I no longer have either one of them because I remember selling one for $1,200. And I was like, holy shit, like I have to sell this.
Yeah.
And, I remember getting the one page I wanted. One page was Cassidy biting somebody in the neck. And then the other one was just Cassidy like in Ireland. And so I got one page I wanted and one page I didn't want or didn't order, but I dealt with it and they were only $40 a piece. So it's nice to have those. And that's when I finally realized I can start getting original comic artwork.
Would that have been around 95 or something?
It was,
okay.
But it took, and then I ended up going to shows and I wasn't buying a lot of pages, but I would get little sketches and drawings and original art that way. And it wasn't until about 2006, 2007, where I hit it really hard, where I really got the bug. There's a gentleman named Patrick Brower. He owns Challengers Comics in Chicago. He started, buying original pages, and me and him both started buying original pages. He stopped and I just kept going. Okay. And it hasn't stopped. So I feel like I came to the game very late compared to a lot of people. I felt like a baby. And yeah. I remember people talking like, oh, I used to get pages for $10 a piece. And I could be like, yeah, I was getting pages for $200 a piece. And around 2007, you had more than you could pick from of great pieces to buy. There was no end to being like, you could buy a Marvel 2-in-1 page or a She-Hulk page for $200, $300 anytime you wanted. It wasn't a matter of finding the piece. The pieces were there. You could just, there, look, I'm forgetting his name. Not so nice. Mike. Mike. I'm sorry. He bought the page from me.
Yeah. Oh, the one that you had sold for $1,200?
No, that one I sold. I don't think I sold to him. It was the one with Cassidy in Ireland, wasn't it, Mike? Was that the one I sold?
I mean, he's telling you the exact page number and issue number right there.
Right. I had 2, but I don't remember the exact. From 14 years ago.
Yeah. Oh,
mine was
his was $500.
Yeah, and I thought I was really screwing Mike over with that too.
Oh, that's nice.
But I remember posting them on CAF and Mike coming and going, "Those are where those pages are." And then the other one I sold for $1,200.
Right.
But yeah, then ever since then I got the bug, and I just keep going with it. I thought
it's been a regular thing, you would say, since around 07?
Around 07, yeah. And I thought it was and I knew what page it was. And it was one of those where I thought, like anything else I collect, I used to be like go and buy first appearance comics. I'll be like, I want to get the first appearance of Black Goliath. I would just go to comic shows and buy first appearances, not to it was just something to pick and choose. And I got tired of that, or I would collect this or collect that. But man, it just never stopped with comic art. I thought I'd grow out of it. I just there's no bottom or top for that.
Yeah. Did you when you hit the college years and you dropped comics for beer, did you ultimately ever become a regular reader again at any point?
Only when I was able to go to the used bookstore and pick up those old Vertigo books that were like 25 cents or 50 cents a piece.
Okay.
And then around that time Vertigo was hot. They were doing really, really good stuff, and it fit an 18-year-old, not 18, 20-year-old sensibilities. That type of Vertigo stuff is what you wanted to read. You weren't going to read, mid-90s What If Superman books, which was really hot at that time, or even X-Men. You wanted to read Vertigo stuff, and that's what I was grabbing.
Right.
Animal Man, the Swamp Thing stuff. Like I said, Sandman Mystery Theater. That was all and Hellblazer. All that stuff was what I was like, but only on the cheap. I was never going to a regular comic shop and picking.
So that was your jam, but only so long as it was like dirt cheap, way lower than cover price, basically.
Right. Because I never could truly leave comic books. It just was one of the. No matter, I would rather go out and, you didn't have any money in college. And you went out with your friends, but I still had a few, quarters in my pocket to buy some Vertigo or comics later on. I was really happy to find that used bookstore that just had them, stacked for whatever reason. I don't even know why this place had them, but it was nice to be able to.
Yeah, but one question about that though, you're going back and getting at this used bookstore, so these back issues, I guess, or whatever. Of the Vertigo stuff, but didn't that mean that you were kind of reading very spotty? In other words, because I would think a used bookstore wouldn't have the complete runs of these things. It
was very interesting. It was spotty, but it would be like spotty, and like I would be able to get 13, 14, 15, and 16. So I would be able to read like 5 issues in a row, and then I'd be I would get chunks. Right. But I would never just buy 1 or 2. So they would have like. Either maybe other college kids were selling their runs, or somebody would go and buy. It'd be like going to a comic show today. You would go and be like, "Hey, I can get Ultimate Spider-Man 12 through 16," but they didn't have 17. Yeah, but you were able to at least get that hunk of story. And then a lot of times, especially those Vertigo books, everything ran 5 issues, so it would stop right in the middle, and you'd have no idea. But I was still happy to get it. I was still happy to be just getting these little pieces and be able to afford them and put them aside. And I was okay with that. I was okay with stopping in the middle of a story.
Oh, for sure. And so would you say you had a mental block in terms of, how I understand how it can be, with artwork back in the old days with back issues. It's like when you find a source for what you like to collect and the source is getting to you at, cheaper than typical prices, you get so used to and you get accustomed to it, to the point though that you refuse to pay a fair price ever. And so you know what I mean? Well, like in your case, like cover price. Did you refuse to buy even at cover price?
Oh yeah, until I got a real job. And then I moved to Chicago and I got a real job, and I went to a comic shop and was able to actually get a pull list together, and I started collecting again. Okay. So yes and no, James. I'm forever a cheap bastard. Thank you. Yes and no. It was just a matter of money, but I'm always happy to pay the right amount for whatever something's worth. And if I still go to the comic shop. I still go week to week over to the guy I brought up earlier, Pat Brower, and buy 3, 4, 5 comics a week. And so I'm still getting stuff. So, and I'm happy to do it. I especially online, a lot of people will be like, there's no good stuff anymore. Everything's, not like it was when I was a kid. There's bad stuff. There's really good stuff. And like you were saying before, if somebody recommends something to you, some stuff I'm reading now is really, really, really great. And I like, Wes Craig's Kaya, that book right now is awesome. The artwork's awesome. The story's a lot of fun. I'll recommend that book to anybody. The other one, I read the new Cobra Commander G.I. Joe book. Outstanding. Really, really well done. And it's shockingly good. So, and the artwork's great. So some stuff, especially if they're contained stories, like you said, that like Marvel's not dictating that this person shows up or it's got to go with this. There are some really, really great books.
Yeah. I always say, and I think a lot of us will agree, that even for those of us, I'm the opposite of you. I haven't bought floppy comics since 1993. But, whether you like to buy it as a floppy weekly or monthly comic book or, as a trade or hardcover or whatever, there's formats for all tastes. And so too are there comic books for all tastes. So I think if you just open your eyes and look around, you take enough time to look around and read synopses of a lot of this stuff, you'd find something that sort of might strike you and make you go, you know what? I think I'm going to, drop off at the, stop off at the comic shop and pick that up and give it a try. There's for sure something out there for everybody.
There is 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that a lot of the complainers are, they've been out of it typically for so long that it's kind of like, they can't be bothered to go into the comic shop, take the time to look around and try stuff. Right. So, but there definitely is more than enough stuff to suit everybody's tastes,
And any comic shop worth its weight, you can go in and say, hey, these are the books I read as a kid. These are the TV shows I like now. What do you recommend? They'll be able to throw something at you for sure.
Yeah. Dan, what's up? Ooh, baby, when you cry, your face is momentary.
Yeah, you can't sing that, Ruben. You can't. It doesn't just come right off the tongue.
I'm trying to figure out what song is that. It's. I knew it was a song, but I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know it, or maybe it's just so out of a context that I'm not aware. Let us know, Dan. So Tom says he needs to read those new books like Void, Rival, and Transformers. Well, he's a retailer though. I always wait, so I have a nice long story to enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah. The Daniel Warren Johnson Transformers book is a lot of fun. And for me to be saying, hey, read a Transformers book, that's crazy. I would never have guessed 5 years ago that I would love a book like that.
Yeah, that's getting a lot of positive buzz. In fact, our friend Carl Sodergren here from Carl's Collection, whose channel I promoted at the beginning at the top of the hour, he's done a few of his episodes, not only unboxings for artwork, but his episodes of where he talks about the comics that he picked up during the week, and
that's awesome.
He often has talked about the Transformers and the G.I. Joe books and talking about how good they are and how much he likes them. So. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Dan also says, a Marvel fan. He's right about Kaya. Okay. Yeah, I'm never been a Misfits person myself, so that's why I wouldn't have known. Thank you, guys. And Kasra is correct. There you go. Thank you. Yes, Transformers, John.
John's never heard of Transformers. That's new.
New. Exactly. He's too busy with Dungeons and Dragons. Marcus, Carl.
They've yet to make a good comic of that, John. We're waiting for it, though.
And Coffee says lots of good stuff to read. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you gotta, you definitely, especially if you haven't been into it as a regular reader for a long time, take some time to you don't even have to start at the comic shop. You could just be online on the various comic book type news sites or whatever, solicitations or whatever it is, and you just have to take the time to read it and read a little bit about what's out there, and then give something a chance, So, okay, so sorry, CJ says, Steve, what is your cat gallery name under? Well, CJ, you've been here long enough to know that if you go into the description right down below, and you go underneath the description, you're going to see Steve's direct link to his gallery. So if you click that, you'll see exactly what his name is. So go ahead and do that. I can't believe you're asking.
You just got yelled at, TJ. Oh, there, Cobby. Cobby's there. Cobby's there for you.
There you go, Cobby. Thank you, Cobby. Although you shouldn't have to, because it's right there. At what point did Steve want to grow up to be Machine Man? That's what he wants to.
That's know. another of my favorite characters. But that was. I'm sure there's something we can wait to talk about Machine Man. There's got to be a pic somewhere.
Okay, no link in the description. I just did it last night. What the hell's going on? It's missing tonight. Well, thank you, everybody. I will be sure to do it later. But thank you, and thank you, Kavi, for throwing it up there. There you go, guys. And matter of fact, maybe later. Hold on. Let me. Oh yeah. See, but once you. Yeah. I can't. But yeah, while we're doing the show and tell, I'll see if I can do double duty and kill two birds with one stone, and try to get the link in there. By the way, is my link? Are my links in there, guys? Tell me if all the links are missing or if it's just Steve's.
No, I saw your stuff showing up when you were talking about different sites to go to. Your links were coming. Yeah, I saw.
You mean in the description of
in the chat?
Oh no, I don't mean the chat. In the description on YouTube. No links visible for you. Thank you, Kavi. Missing. Thank you, Peter. All links missing. Okay, thanks, guys. I'll be sure to get that after. Thank you. But okay, excellent. Thank you, CJ. Thank you. You don't have to keep telling me. You're reminding me that something got screwed up, even though I know I did it. I don't know. Maybe it didn't save or so. I don't know. But I will get that done. Yeah. So, Steve, are you ready to get into this, bud?
I am.
Okay, excellent.
I'd rather talk about art than myself.
Okay.
No probably most people here.
All right. So you've seen a little bit of my show, you know how it goes, but basically, as I pop things up onto the screen, whatever comes to mind, whatever you want to say about any piece that I selected, memories they bring up or what you love about it, a story of how you acquired it, whatever you want to talk about and say about the piece, each piece, feel free to. And that's it. And that's how we roll here. You good?
I'm good.
Okay. And all right, so all sausage links. Oh, geez. Hey, CJ, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you for dropping in, as always. Back 9 links. Nice. All right, so let me cue this up, man, and we'll get started here. All right. Okay. So, tonight, and by the way, everybody, Steve has an amazing collection of comic book art. Really fantastic stuff. So before you start asking, oh, wow, you're going to show this? Or did you? I hope you selected that. Just remember, I can't go and do a 10-hour show and show somebody's entire collection, right? I typically show 20 pieces, so a lot of stuff has to be sacrificed. But tonight, 25 pieces, all right? So still, even with those extra 5 pieces, there was things that, of course, I wish I could show that they just couldn't make the cut. So there you go. Don't ask me why when we get to the end, don't ask me how I dared not show this or that or the other. You can't show it all. But the beauty about show and tells episodes is that it should act as a tease for you guys, right? So you look and listen here at the 20 to 25 pieces we show tonight. And then you use that to then go to his gallery to look at the rest of his collection and drop some likes and some comments on him. And yeah, there you go. Okay, so there we go. Last couple of comments before we get to the first piece. Let's get ready to the art rumble. Exactly. Art time, Carl. That's right. The art is not for sale.
No.
What's his best piece? They're all his best piece.
That's such a hard question. It's such a loaded question.
Yeah. How do you answer that? Any monkey art, says John. John's obsessed with monkey art this week. Ruben growing a beard. No, just too lazy to shave. And sick. All right. Good way to get into that first piece. Ruben the Tease. You know me, Kavi. You know me. Steve, a lot of pieces. I love similar taste for sure. Yeah, a lot of great stuff. So, and by the way, you guys know I usually try to save the last piece for like the sort of the one that's gonna blow your mind or whatever. I didn't do that this time
because none will.
What I did this time is I was actually trying to get a sense of what Steve's favorite pieces were, and then just judging from what he says in his descriptions and whatnot. But Steve is one of those guys that tends to use the word, he throws around the word grail a lot, like a lot of the rest of you guys. And so, of course, that makes it kind of hard to sort of, because, when you use the word grail a lot or, close to grail, you're that changes over time, right? You have a lot of pieces that end up feeling like, oh, that's kind of a grail.
Right. This is my 2018 grail and my 2022 grail.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the time it is. At the time you firmly believe it. And then the shine of that one goes away a little bit, and it's not as graily because your tastes have changed, and now your white whale has become something else because you've already caught that other white whale.
Exactly. So just FYI, so what I did is I kind of just took a guess as to what might be not his favorite piece. It's impossible, but I know it'll be a piece that he loves. But don't expect it to be like the showstopper or whatever. Even though it's a great artist that drew it. But anyways, you'll see as we go along, and based on what Steve's going to talk to us about and tell us about his favorite characters and artists, you'll probably get a sense as to why I picked what I picked. And yeah, go. And lastly, sorry, is this going to be an all Grail show? I mean, again, I don't believe in using the word grail unless it's wholly in front of it and it's one. It can only be one. I don't believe in anything other than that. So I guess you can ask Steve as we go. And I got one grail. See, there you go. That's sorry. I put that back. Dan says, after which I have my must-haves. There you go. Thank you, Dan. That's kind of like where I am. And lucky underpants are more revered than art grails. Nothing's a grail until you battle a bloodthirsty bunny for it. It's your show, but thank you. I appreciate it. And if it didn't get hurt, if it didn't hurt to get it, it's not a grail. There you go. All right, there we go. Next, and let's get into that, everyone. First piece in tonight's show. I did feel I wanted to start strong, and so I picked this one.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, pretty good way to start, right? You know what, Steve? I thought, as I'm looking through your collection, I'm like, man, for a guy who gets one Tomb of Dracula example, you sure made your one example count, baby.
Interesting enough, I got this a decade ago from an Australian called an animation cell place in Australia that sells pretty much like Simpson cells or cartoon cells, and they have a small section of comic art, and they still do. The guy's really, really nice, and I remember seeing it there, and I was shocked that it was even there. Because like everybody else, you have your like 10 places you look almost on a daily or if not every other day basis to see what has shown up and what hasn't. And this was there. And it was one of those, when I saw it pop up for the price of it and everything else, I didn't even hesitate. I just clicked the button and grabbed it. I mean, it's like you say, throwing around the grail. I throw around, the word museum. This is a museum piece. This is something, if somebody was having a display in a museum someplace and you would want to bring comic art, this is one of those places. Gene Colan, man, the way he just what steals this whole piece isn't Dracula, it isn't the helicopter, it isn't it's the way that Gene Colan illustrates those robes and the cape and everything in those folds, and the movement of the snow and everything. It really isn't it's just the movement and the way those robes are moving and the cape is moving. This is one that's framed when I come downstairs every day on my way to work. I love having this would be one of the last pages I'd sell. Yeah, you started off super, super strong.
Oh, that's excellent. I mean, it's a fantastic, like I said, you're gonna get one example. You really got an incredibly amazing one single example from this series, right? So, yeah, it's to me as sorry, comments moving past here. As Rick says, fantastic, absolutely.
Rick has the best comments. He's and puns too, so I always appreciate.
Oh, for
that.
sure. For sure. And hey, Dan, what's up? What a fabulous page from the gentleman Gene, the Dean Colan. Wahahaha. Good to see you, Dan. Do you do package deals?
I think Marcus wants to buy some art. I really feel like he's got some money to burn.
It feels like he is. I think he's definitely wealthier than all of us combined.
That's it. Sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm getting older. I don't. It's Comic Mint in Australia. I don't remember the guy's name. Really nice guy. I bought more than one page from him. It's a place that I look every now and again. He hasn't updated his comic art section in a while, but it was always worth looking at. I don't know how he ended up getting that page, and I think at the time, even 10 years ago, I think I felt like I got it for a steal.
This would be a different Australian fella than that guy George Pantella, I assume. It's not him, right?
I don't think that. I think the name Eric is, if I recall, but I could be wrong. But that's the name that comes to mind. But like I said, his what he's into is animation cells.
Okay, so
most of it, like I think he just happened like on this, like how some like dealers will have comic art and some cells. He has cells and some comic art.
It's the reverse for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, awesome. That's a great way to start. And yeah, by the way, Alberto, believe it or not, there's more than one person in Australia. Yeah. Thank you. But how many comic art dealing Australians are there? That could be possibly one or two. And the guy that I'm talking about, actually, I think he stopped trying to wheel and deal comic art like in the late 2000s, I think. And he actually, I said his name is George Pantella. Those of you who are into slabbed comics are familiar with this website called GPA Analysis. GPA stands for George Pantella. So he's that guy. He tried dealing comic art and then ultimately got into the gathering and selling data about the slab comic books. So there you go. Dingoes keep the population down. Thank you.
You bring up Australia, there better be a dingo comment.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to make it.
David says that his name is Andrew.
Yes. David's got a way. David must have bought some Simpsons animation cells from him. Okay.
Top collector of Kaya art, not sure why you're mentioning it, by Wes Craig, is in Australia.
Okay. I brought up Kaya earlier, so that was...
Oh, is that...
The Wes Craig book. I said that's one of my favorite books, modern books right now.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, but I think I'm trying to remember her name. She popped in to see. She popped in here a couple of times. What's her name? It's not coming to me right now. But somebody who knows what I'm talking about. I think it Reba. That's it. That's what I'm thinking of. Is that who you're talking about, Dan? Is it Reba? Yeah. Okay, there you go. Reba. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Everybody coming in there. All right, there you go.
Everybody to the rescue. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so let us move on, everybody, to the second piece in tonight's show and tell.
It's all downhill from here, guys.
It's probably up and down. No?
Very curvy. It's very curvy from here.
A wavy, yeah. No, it's all good. I love it. I mean, in the order of level of rating artist popularity and stuff. Of course, it will be like this, But if you set aside the artist's name value, I think it's all great. I just really love the great examples of whether it's big name or smaller name artists. I just really like it all. So. Okay, let's take a look at that second one, peeps. Here we go. Check it out. Tell us a little bit about this one, Steve.
This one, this is back. Well, how would I say? This is when I was going and was able to get Bronze Age art fairly cheap at the time, and I was kind of doing this mark of I need to get a Dazzler page. I need to get an Iron Man page. I need to get a Defenders page. What brought me to this one is the inking. It's not, you know. Oh yeah, yeah, Bulanadi. Yeah, I mean, I think Frank Springer did most of the Dazzler work, if I'm not mistaken, at least in the front of the run. And some stuff is good, but I mean, really, I think Bulanadi, he did maybe 2 issues of inking, maybe just this one, and he just blows everything away. This is one of those where like Danny's name should come first and then Frank Springer. It's that like he steals the art away that much quicker. It's a fun one. If you read the first so many issues of Dazzler, she really fights some really extreme villains as she goes through the first. I mean, she fights Absorbing Man, she fights Galactus, she's fighting Nightmare here, and the Bulanadi, he really renders the heck out of these pages. It's really, really nice. A lot of stuff I try to collect really has a lot to do with the penciler, but if the inker can, you know, the inker can steal the show, I'll take that almost every single time. I think that won't be the only time I mention this as we go through, that I think the inking is better than the penciling. And yeah, this is another one that is just really, really nice to hold on to. And like I say, it's Bronze Age fun. It's you've got Dazzler in her disco outfit, fighting demons, fighting Nightmare. I mean, most people probably had no idea that she would even have fought a character like this and beat him. But that was the Dazzler book at the time. Really good, fun end of Bronze Age stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, when did Danny pass away? Rick, do you know? I don't remember. But yeah, everything you said, it's true, Steve. I mean, I was never a Frank Springer fan. I'm still not a Frank Springer fan for the most part in comics. But this spectacular example is made all the more spectacular primarily because of Danny's inks. You're right about that.
If somebody showed this to you and you had no idea, like, who penciled this, you would never say Springer.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's just fabulous, incredible, beautiful rendering.
I need to rescan this one and put it back up. I got a better scanner since I've gotten this page. But yeah, when I wanted a Dazzler page, I wanted one from this issue with his inks, and when it came up, I made sure I got it and held on to it.
Yeah, no, it's a great one. You've had it for how long now, Steve?
Shoot, let me see.
You don't have to check. I'm just curious if you can say it all.
I mean, I'm going to guess 10 years without looking right now.
So it's been a good chunk of time then.
2017, I got it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not too long ago, about 7 years ago.
Because when I get stuff, I don't sit on it. I know some collectors have been like, "Oh, I've got 3 years of art to put up." I don't even know how you do it. You know, Alberto is able to put stuff up like 10 seconds after he gets it, so that, you know, he's pretty quick with it.
Exactly. But
yeah, my stuff goes up within 1 or 2 months after receiving it. So it's the date it's posted is the date I got it.
Yeah. Springer and Robbins is my favorite. It's about as my favorite as it is yours, Marcus. You know that. I know how much you love the combo of Springer and Frank Robbins. Yeah.
I don't like, you know, and I feel bad too. It's like, I don't think Springer's a bad artist or anything like that, but I don't want to shit on anybody as we go through it either. But I guess we could. Try not to.
At least not in a mean-spirited way, but I do think it's okay to be honest about, you know, have honest conversations about, you know, listen, not every artist is amazing. You know, and I'm sure you remember, Steve, there was a time where all of us here tonight, would have no problem giving our true opinions about some of the Marvel Silver Age artists not named Kirby, and even Kirby and Ditko. And these days, it seems 99% of the people in our hobby, instead of being honest, suddenly every single artist that ever worked in the Silver Age is a legend.
Right. Yeah. There's some stuff that I like. I still, Don Heck is one of them. I can't I would get some pages with Don Heck because he did a lot of really important books, but Don Heck does, like, I would not be like, oh, he's the guy. Don Heck's the man. Like, it just doesn't do it for me. But, you know, maybe it does for somebody else. So that's good. Just not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. About once a month he scans and then he spreads out the postings on CAF because Ruben yelled at me when I do a big art job. I don't yell at you. I don't yell at you, to be clear.
Alfredo thinks everybody yells at him, by the way.
Yeah. No, I want to make it clear, though. I'm just saying, I've always said, to those of you, specifically those of you who care about receiving comments from people, right? If you're somebody who cares, who want to receive comments from, feedback from people on the art you post, if you're one of those people, I'm just telling you, in fairness, don't do any art dumps. Don't do art dumps. An art dump is anything more than one per day. Okay? The most you should be doing is one per day, because those of us, you guys should know, there's a lot of us who will leave comments for our friends, regardless of whether we care that much about the piece or not or whatever, right? We just support each other by exchanging comments back and forth. It's a way to stay in touch with each other regularly anyways, blah, 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 right?
Yeah, it's like saying hello.
What's that?
It's like saying hello.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. And that's all I've ever said is, if you care, then don't do art dumps. Because I'm telling you, it's not just me. I speak to a lot of people, and a lot of people agree with me. If you do an art dump, you're probably going to end up getting no comments, because we already have too many comments to leave for everybody. Right? Without having to leave 7 or 8 for one person.
And on top of it, we're all super jealous that you can actually have an art dump. Like, I can't have an art dump. I don't make enough money to have an art dump. I want to make enough money to have an art dump. I can't. So I'm, my 12 to 15 pieces a year, that I spread those out. So it's more jealousy. I'll be like, screw that guy. He just posted 10 pieces. I'm not commenting on any of them.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But that's what Alberto's trying to give me shit about that or whatever. But I'm just saying. I've made myself clear many times. Mr. Gonzalez, you know exactly what my views are. All right, so that's it. Shit.
Lots of comments on this one.
I see. There's somebody. Mickey's loving Don Heck early Avengers.
Yep. Go with God, Mickey. Go with God.
Stanley, why are the old artists revered now? Why are all old artists? Well, I don't know. Like I said, everybody suddenly became afraid to give their honest opinions about these sort of more pedestrian artists of the past. Suddenly it became, you see, like I said, it's not even really the comic hobby. There, if you talk to people there, the honesty typically still happens. It's in our hobby, the art hobby, where everybody's like, legend, George Tuska, legend, Kirby, legend, Ditko, legend, Trimpy, legend, Marie Severin, legend. Like, everybody's a legend. Like, really? Okay, whatever, So that's it. I'd like to have more honest conversations, but like I said, it's touchy. I get it's a touchy subject, but there's ways to be honest without sounding like you're just there to shit on some artist or whatever. You know what I mean?
No. You just, not everything's for you, and it should be that way.
Yeah. So there you go. That's right, Mike. One per day fits my schedule. Let's all work with that. That's right. Like I said, if you care. If you don't care, then it doesn't matter. Marcus doesn't complain about art dumps. Eat more fiber, Steve. Love me a good sized dump.
Yep, a lot of poop.
Yes. Let's move on. A lot of dumps. A lot of dumps and shit disturbers here. Well, that's it. There you go. There you go. Not a Steranko. See, there you go. That's okay, Carl. That's what I'm saying. Okay, you're saying it without shitting on him, and that's okay. And by the way, since you're saying that, let me just quickly say, I've always felt that Paul Gulacy, whose basically his entire career was kind of modeled on Steranko, I think he took what Steranko did and took it further. So I think he did Steranko better than Steranko did. So there you go for my opinion.
I'm reading Master of Kung Fu right now in the big omnibuses, and
it's,
I've never read them before. I'm on the second omnibus.
I've never read them. Yeah.
Issue 50, and if you have never read them, read them. The story's great, and the artwork, Gulacy's artwork, is mind blowing.
Interestingly enough, somebody in a recent episode, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, said the same thing. They were like, yeah, those early Master of Kung Fu's, they're really good. Reading them, and they're really good. I was like, oh, I just never got into the whole Kung Fu.
It doesn't, Ruben, I'm telling you right now, and I would rarely, anybody on this chat right now, if I will 100% recommend at least the first 50 issues of Master of Kung Fu.
That's what they were saying.
It's stellar. It's like, as a kid, it just didn't like Kung Fu comics. I don't want that. But reading them now, and it's spectacular. And everybody should try to own at least one Gulacy piece of artwork. He's amazing.
Yeah. What's up, Southern Comic Geek? How's it going, Jason? All right, let's move on to the next piece, everybody. And for that, we go, oh, this is a fun piece. See, back in the day, I thought these were fun, but I never cared to get one. And then, of course, these days, when I no longer hunt for artwork anymore, I kind of wish I had gotten one. But they're just, I don't want to spend whatever they sell for now. But it's fun. It's cool to see that you got this one. Check it out.
I'm happy I got this one. This was there's nothing more to this than pure nostalgia, right?
Yeah,
this is just fun goofiness. I was looking for I had the word Hostess, still do, alerts for the last decade, just trying to get a Hostess page, and they don't come up. Recently, a few have come up, and they're really hard to get. But yeah, I managed to get this page. Yeah, I have no idea who inked it. I don't think anybody really knows who inked it. I will also say, while I'm thinking about it, if you go on Etsy, somebody has collected all the Hostess fruit pie advertisements in a book.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you can buy them all in a nice trade. The last time a bunch of us met in Chicago, Kasra handed them out. They're beautiful. They are really, really nice to have. The guy sells in and out of them. But it's nice to have, worth grabbing. If he doesn't have them now, you could probably get them later. I really like this one. The one I really wanted, I think was my punk rock side. Daredevil was fighting some punk rock kid called Johnny Mohawk, if I'm not mistaken, and that's the one I would love to own, but I'm very happy with having this one. My wife loves Daredevil. She has this one actually in her office we have framed up.
Oh, really?
This is the kind of cute, fun stuff that she likes to have. So I was able to grab this one, and yeah, it's another one to hold on to the collection. Thank you for picking this one. I don't know if a lot of people would, but this is good to have.
For sure. This is I for sure I'd pick this because I think we all of us who read comics thought like, okay, what kid didn't like comics and junk food, right? And so to see that they would advertise their junk food product with a comic book page, I just thought that was the coolest concept. And the fact that they used Marvel artists to do it, I thought that was even better. So yeah.
And there wasn't a kid, you wouldn't skip this reading, you would skip ads, but this was like you felt like you got a free mini comic inside the comic.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like a free one-page story, right? Like even though you know it's about junk food, it's still just a free extra one-page little story. And yeah, man, I love these. I always love them. And yeah, I mean, every time they would come up at auction, again, I would pass them by back in the day because I thought, whatever, it's fun, but I don't need that. It's a bit too silly for me. Again, this is back in my days where everything has to be serious,
Right. It's kind of weird. As I grow older, the more fun I can have with things.
Yeah, that's right. That's kind of like where I am now as well. But like I said, my only problem these days, as far as these things go, is I'm at that point of collecting where I don't hunt things, and everything's gotten too expensive for me, so I don't feel like spending the money that it takes to get one of these now. I mean, I haven't seen them in for a while. Do you know off the top of your head, like what the most recent sales might be? Like in what range? Like how many thousands we're talking about?
A lot.
Like $5,000, $3,000.
I want to say $3,000 to $5,000 for a Hostess page at this point.
Okay. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Depending on the character, and it all depends on the character. It's if a Hulk page is going to do better than some other pages, or Spider-Man's going to do better than Daredevil, but it seems like, oh shit, Jason, is that true? $20,000?
Let me see. Hold on. Then I just want to say, I don't know. Steve had it listed as Sal Buscema, but nothing.
The guy I bought it from had it listed as Sal Buscema. So
right, but I can tell that it's Sal Buscema myself, right? So a lot of people can tell. You can see it's Sal Buscema, but you can't really tell who inked it. It could be any number of inkers. And there's nothing that I've ever seen online anywhere over the decades to lead us to know what Dan is saying is true. He says, I thought only one artist ever did those ads. I don't know where you got.
No, there's a bunch of different artists that did it.
Yeah. So no, but I think he means like he thinks every ad was done by one person doing pencils and inks.
Oh, okay, that could be true.
But I don't know, right? Like, why would it be that way? Since typically in the regular comics, the pencilers had somebody else inking them. So that's why I feel like it's much more likely that there's a different inker for it. But who knows? But that's why I left it as Sal Buscema and question mark in case there is somebody. I didn't want to put just Sal and make the assumption that it's pure Sal, because I don't think that we really know for a fact that is pure Sal. So that's the only reason I did it that way. So there you go. What's up, Rich? Greetings. Sorry you're late. No, sorry. It's a fun show so far. 50 people watching here. So really, really great. Thank you for dropping in. Therefore, it's healthy. Yeah, it was already cost of a cover back then. Oh, really? Okay. 20K? Is that okay? Well, I'm getting 20K. We're getting 11K. Wow, that's either way, whatever is the close. Okay, 12K average. Wow, into the 5K.
More than I even thought.
Wow.
I haven't looked in a while because I got one.
Yeah, man. Like see that, and you know what's funny is I was thinking like 5 to 8, and I was already at that price thinking, that's why I don't want to own one. I'm just not in the mood to blow that kind of money on one.
I don't think you're going to get $8,000 of enjoyment out of it at that point.
No, that's what I mean. I know I won't. I mean, it's cool and everything, but there's not much art that I get, when it starts to get like basically in the higher 4 figures, I'm already like, ugh. Like I've done it, I'll do it, but like I don't feel like I ever get as much joy out of those pieces as I do some of the pieces that cost me $150, $200, So that's the thing. Always claim it's inked by Remy if it's Marvel. Well, a lot of dealers probably would do that. Dave Kopecki just got a page. Okay, good for Dave. A good resale value there. Okay, nice Hulk statue in the background, says Gil. To save time, maybe. Who knows? Hey, Peter, hello. Do people sell fan letter pages? Well, those are stats. And they've appeared in the past, Carl. They don't, they haven't sold for much, but they might sell for between 150 to 300, whatever. Also depends. Is it a Silver Age, letters page, or a 80?
X-Men letters page. I'm sure X-Men letters pages are worth more.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and they just list Sal again, but you can't take Heritage's word for it. They are notorious for not really doing their homework and taking the consignor's word for it. So they're definitely not the place to go for that type of information if you want absolute certainty. Unfortunately, hellos. You won't see the good ones available publicly. You get a DC or Archie a lot cheaper. Yeah, the DC's like anything else. DC's always cheaper for sure, much more affordable. 1.5 hours entry pieces is going to be a long night. Now you guys are also talking a lot, I must say. And there's a lot of people here tonight. Steve can list the inker as Silver Age legend. Silver Age, that's a good one.
They're all legends.
They're all legends. I love that. Good one, Peter. I love that. Hostess with the mostest, and Alfredo just eats some fruit pies. All right, let's move on to the next piece, everybody. And so from the Buscema Daredevil Hostess fruit pies, we go to the very first issue that I bought from this title, Steve. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Maybe have you talk about that one.
Nah, I want you to talk about it. It's near and dear to my heart, but it's a fun sort of. It's on that. Those of you who like the whole Dazzler thing, in terms of like third tier, let's say Marvel stuff or whatever. This is kind of in that same, on that same tier or whatever. But a lot of us love this stuff, so here we go.
Oh yeah, this goes right back to loving the inking, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this was probably, in my opinion, the best artwork that they were doing for Rom. Other than the first issue had some nice stuff in it, whatever else. But when they got Akin and Garvey doing the inking, and I've never really heard the backstory about these guys, why they were a team, why they stopped doing work. Or do you know more?
No. I'm saying me too. Like it's one of those things where I always loved Akin and Garvey. I never quite found out, how they divided the work between them on the inking. And to this day, I still don't know. And I've since seen, I think both of them doing work on their own instead of as a team. So I know nothing about them, and I would love to know some of the background behind the history to them.
But when you see it, you can almost tell it's them every time, and they really. Yeah. I mean, maybe for some people they're heavy-handed. I could see that they'd be like they're probably washing away some of Sal Buscema's actual pencils and what. But for me, I don't care. It just stands out. I like the stark black and whites. If you're reading this book around this time as you were, this is really, really important part of Rom's history, where he finds his own a clone of himself that he thinks is actually alive, and now he's burying it. I also like the gremlin in the background from the Soviet super soldiers. Just a little added thing. I love weird Marvel heroes or villains. So yeah, this one, I traded a Micronauts title page and a couple other things with Andrew for this one. And it was a hard trade, but Andrew drives a hard bargain with getting his Micronauts stuff. So I was able to trade this along with a Godzilla title page too. Happy to do it. Me and Andrew have become pretty good friends after that. And this is another one that really, really feel lucky that I have.
It's fantastic. I know what you mean by heavy-handed when you say heavy-handed on the inks. They had a very, very slick style, but that's what I liked. It was very, very slick. It's kind of like Bulanadi and a lot of the other Filipino inkers, right? A lot of them had a very heavy-handed type style, and yet it really did a nice, lovely job of embellishing a lot of pencilers. So, I don't actually know too many people who have ever, like when I've asked them about, hey, do you remember those guys, Akin and Garvey, they were on Sal, over Sal on Rom? you know, and they're like, oh yeah, I really, really like that stuff. I like that stuff better than when Sal was on his own, you know?
Well, and it's also, this is one of those times, I'm a kid reading this, and I can tell the difference. I can tell, for whatever reason, I'm reading this as a kid and going, this is special. The artwork is special in this, and it's just different than anything else that has come before it. And I don't know, I don't remember how many issues they did, but I really remember enjoying, like, I was getting Rom consecutively at this time. This was definitely a monthly book.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I'm getting a lot of love in the chat. A lot of people that saying that they also loved the Akin and Garvey inks as well. So I thought it was great stuff. And like I said, it's funny. I used to love reading anytime, like I would read Amazing Heroes, comics interview, you know, those prozines that would have like interviews with creators. I used to love reading that stuff. But out of all the stuff that I read over the decades, I always wanted to, and I always hoped it would happen, but I never ever saw a single interview with Akin and Garvey or either or.
I mean, maybe that's something to research. Nobody talks about. I mean, they talk. Everybody loves them, like for the most part. Everybody's like, "Oh, Akin Garvey. Oh, those are Akin Garvey inks. Great." But nobody knows anything else past that. You know?
Yeah. Carl, who is Filipino too? Who are you saying? Because I mentioned Danny Bulanadi, obviously, but I don't know what the arrow you're pointing with the arrow. I'm not really sure who you mean. Let me know. They inked Rom from 82 to 84. Thank you, Ian. Yes, I figured it was like about a couple of years. Yeah. Legends.
That's like 9 years old to 11-year-old sweet spot for me.
I would say, like, if you want to be more specific, you know, to give them a little bit of clout and respect, 80s inking legends. You know,
yep.
Yeah, why not?
Legend. They are legends. Nothing but legends, Mike, from here on out.
A lot of people love what they did. Yeah, for sure. Oh, he's pointing at himself. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, that's not the. Yeah,
thanks,
Gremlin's got a good view of his right from behind him.
That's funny. Okay, excellent. So another very, very, very nice piece. And like I said, so happy to be able to pick it because it was my first issue of ROM. So, and that's when I started collecting it.
I mean, what a weird place to start, but what a good place to start too.
I mean, again, for me, it had to do with just, money, lack thereof,
But I mean, there was a lot going on in those issues, for sure.
Listen, I wanted to buy everything, couldn't afford to buy most of it. But when I finally I would have a little bit of extra money. I'd be like, oh, I got to try something different. And that month I saw ROM, I saw the cover. By the way, I'll tell you the reason that issue is the one I decided to go with when I wanted to try something different that month with the extra money I had. It's also because I started as a Hulk fan. And so I was already familiar with the Soviet super soldiers that I loved, right? I loved the whole aspect of superheroes from other countries representing other countries, right? And they had appeared in the Hulk first, and then Contest of Champions, if you remember reading Contest. Right. So that's it. And then I was like, oh my God, ROM with, I always wanted to try ROM, and it's still the Soviet super soldiers. Oh yeah, and that's why I said, okay, I'm getting ROM this month. And then from that month onward, I bought ROM to the end of the series when it got canceled. So
yeah, good run.
A fun stuff. And I always said, ROM would make like a great ongoing science fiction television show, especially with the dire wraiths.
Yeah, I think it could. I have a feeling with. Marvel has just released Micronauts again and released ROM. I think before too long, you're going to see ROM show up somewhere. If they have the license to reprint the stuff, they have the license to use them again. So I think we'll be surprised in the near future.
We'll see, I guess, How beautiful those ROM issues. Yeah, that's right, Carl. Cool, man. Let's move on to the next piece. And for that, we hit... a guilty pleasure of mine. Well, I don't know if I should call it a guilty pleasure. Yeah, it was great. Now, this one, I was in like love with the whole aspect of the 4-issue miniseries during the 80s. Loved that whole idea.
Yeah,
and
Iceman, Falcon, Wonder Man, yeah.
Marvel, DC, whatever. And then, of course, the 12-issue maxi series, but especially the 4 issues, because I knew with 4 issues, I'd be able to, even with having money troubles, I'd be able to probably finish to the 4th issue and have a complete set or whatever, you know? But this
even if it was bad, you're like, I got the first 2. There's 2 left, right?
Yeah. Yes, because you're like, no, I gotta have it complete. Yeah, it's only 4 issues. Let me at least have it complete.
Because Iceman was bad. Iceman was not. I remember Iceman. Yeah, it wasn't good, right?
Iceman sucked. That was really bad, but I had to buy it.
Yep.
I had to buy it because it was an X-Man, an original X-Man, and then of course I got to complete it. So. But yeah, let's check this one out. This was a really unknown character to most people, but the first issue of the miniseries hit the stands, and I was like, holy shit, look at that cover. Check it out.
I already know it. I already know it before you even hit it.
Sorry, here we go.
Oh, no. Actually, This is not what I thought it was.
Oh, look at that. I threw a curveball at you, man.
We'll see if you get to that one. But no, there's another 4-issue limited series that I have a first page of, and let's see if we get to that. If not, I'll write you an angry email afterwards. Okay. I to be honest, Ruben, I only got the first issue of this. With the
really?
I don't know if I don't know if I couldn't find them. Who knows, right? Yeah. The year when this came out, but I loved it. I loved the Defenders at the time. I loved the Gargoyle character. And for some reason, I was kind of blind that the Gargoyle character was like a geriatric old man. Like it didn't, not until my adulthood did I realize, oh, he's an old man. Because he was he was almost like the Beast, always cracking jokes and always like being a little bit silly or whatever else. But I had a soft spot for him. I was reading Defenders, and and Mark Badger does such a good job with this page. This was another one that I saw, and I was like, and it was one of those I didn't even think about it. When you see those pages online or whatever else, and you just click, you're like, I'm getting it. And you click the button and you just kind of do the sign of the cross going, oh God, I hope I get it. Nobody else wanted this page. I don't know why I was worried about anybody else getting it. Maybe my friend Steve Crozier wanted it because he likes the same stuff I like. But what a great page. I love the 4 gargoyle faces up at the top. Being different gargoyle statues, but on the third one you have Isaac's face, the regular gargoyle, kind of mixing with the 3, and then the movement of him blending in with all the other gargoyles on the other one. And nobody talks about Mark Badger. He does not have a big body of work for Marvel. I don't recall right now what he does have an indie character. Do you know what that is, Ruben? What's his? Doesn't he have an indie character he was really big with?
Who Badger?
Mark Badger. Didn't he have a creator-owned character?
Didn't he do some American Flag or Badger? Badger, maybe?
I don't know. I'm sure somebody in the chat will know.
Yeah, I think he did one of those like from First Comics. Let me see. Okay. Oh, Mark is saying the Badger.
It's like there's no way Mark Badger did the Badger. You're just thinking that. But oh, my buddy Pat's on there that I talked about from Challengers.
Challenger Comics. Look at that. Welcome.
Hi,
Thanks for jumping in.
But yeah, this is just a well done page, just laid out like almost where I talk about the inking for some of them. The layout of this page is amazing to me, more than anything else. The way the middle panels all build out together. Yeah, just where you get the 2 small ones and they flow into a nice big page with all the gargoyles flying out at you. With those top 4 panels, really, really nice stuff.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I like I said, it hit me. I see. It's funny because you in your description, you were talking about, oh, and everybody remembers if you were reading, you were probably reading Defenders, and then how could you not like Gargoyle or whatever, something like that, something to that effect. And funny enough, I'm like, I didn't care for Defenders. I wasn't attracted to that team at all. I never bought a single issue, not even to try one that I can remember. I'm pretty sure I never bought even one. And so, but when that Wrightson cover hit the stands, I was so blown away, not only with the combination of the painting, but the fact that the Gargoyle, I always thought he looked like really, really cool.
Right. And that sometimes that's all it takes is this character looks cool. And and that's all. I mean, look at a character like Spider-Gwen. Like, what a throwaway. Like, they made up such a great costume for her that she became a big character. And then but then you're looking at like 10-year-old, 12-year-old, like I was attracted to all the monster characters. Man-Thing, Gargoyle, the Beast, anybody that looked like a monster, I was in.
Right. I wouldn't say I hated them. I just wasn't attracted to them. What's up, Lee? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Defenders had cool covers by Geis. I love Geis. Yeah. They had some cool covers by Geis. And if I remember correctly, they had some beautiful ones by Alan Weiss, or is it Weiss? I never found out if Alan's name is Weiss or Weiss. Had a few beautiful, and then Zach, Mike Zach. So
Sandy Plunkett did a really
Sandy Plunkett. Oh God, yes, fantastic. So they had a great run of covers. Never good enough to attract me to buy it because for me it was, I just felt like these characters didn't belong together. They didn't seem to gel together. Plus, I hated the Don Perlin artwork. So
I was good. Legendary Don Perlin.
The legendary Don Perlin. Defenders is awesome. Is it, Kavi? Really? The 80s era Defenders? I don't know. Any Defenders? I don't know, man. Hey, if you liked it, you liked it. Like I said, it just didn't attract me ever, and that was it, Those were great fun. Oh, you're talking about the Lee's channel? Yep. Badger also did the DeMatteis Martian Manhunter mini. Oh, that's right. That's what Badger did, and the Prestige Batman Jazz mini. That's right.
I mean, some of the middle. I can't remember the Elf with the Gun story. There was some weird Defender stuff going on. So you might appreciate it a little bit more as you grow older, especially the middle of the run when it got really, really weird with the Scorpio saga and things like that. You might like that. Like I said, there was a lot of drugs being done by the writers working on that at the time, and they were allowed to do a lot of nobody cared about Defenders, so they were just allowed to do a lot of goofy stuff.
Let me just say this out of a point of interest. So as little as the Defenders appealed to me as a group, they appealed to me as a group less than the Avengers. But even the Avengers, and I've mentioned this before, even the Avengers, I never, until John Buscema and Roger Stern took over the title with Tom Palmer, with issue 255, a beautiful painted Tom Palmer cover, until they took over, and that's why I bought it. I started buying with that issue. I didn't care for the Avengers, although I did like to read the individual titles like Captain America, Iron Man, Thor. But as a group, I didn't care.
Well, I only had so much money, so I would go buy a team book. That way I got more characters.
Right.
So I didn't go and that was I'm going to buy Avengers. I get 7 heroes in this one and Captain, unless I was reading something like Jason just got an issue of The Thing where it had Spider-Man, Wonder Man, all fighting the Thing on the cover. And I was like, well, I'll get that I'll get that because I got 4 heroes on it. So I was more bang for your buck hero wise is if it had a ton of characters, I'm buying that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I think a lot of readers did that as well. I've heard a lot of people say, Well, when I was a kid, oh, well, sure, I bought Avengers and I bought Teen Titans and I bought X-Men because I'd get more heroes in my comics, right, for the same price, whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I knew that I could get more heroes, but just somehow it didn't appeal to me. It didn't make me feel like I would enjoy. I always felt like I wasn't going to enjoy the concept of them as a team, and I just liked reading about them individually. I don't know. It's weird. There's some truth. There's some truth. Let me put that back up. Welcome back, by the way, Cap. Don't know why some really disliked Don Perlin again, because he was sort of pedestrian, sort of middle of the road. He wasn't exceptional. That's another way to put it, but competent, right? But that's the thing.
He did some cool books. He did some cool Werewolf by Night stuff. But was it Don Perlin or was it because it was Werewolf by Night?
It was okay. I'm not saying it was terrible, but it's just, again, was it legendary? You know what I mean? Like, was it legendary, Steve? That's all I'm saying.
It's all tonight. It's all legendary.
That's it. So, okay, let us check out the next piece, everybody. And from the Gargoyle by Badger, we go to the Doom Patrol from one of my favorite artists of the last 40 years, Steve Lightle, with a great inking job by Gary Martin, 1987.
I could really tell that you really like artists with nice, crisp lines, and it seems like some of the stuff you're picking out, which is my stuff, so it's complimentary, but it seems like, hey, you like stuff is really, really, you can, with a lot of clarity to it, you can tell exactly what's going on. Which I like. I'm telling you, my tastes run the gamut. I mean, I'm all over the map. Sienkiewicz is the complete opposite approach to this. I've always loved Sienkiewicz. You know what I mean? So. Okay. I stand a bit. Some of the stuff you picking out so far, but like I said, it's my stuff, so really no complaint here. This is, I remember buying these off the stand. I actually stopped before Grant Morrison got a hold of it. But man, I thought this was going to be my Doom Patrol. Like, I was excited about this book. I liked the characters. I liked the artwork of it. He did not stay on the book for very long. I don't think Steve Lightle could stay on a book for very long. The amount of detail he puts into things. Gary Martin, another perfect for him. Heavy inker, doing a lot of nice Kirby crackle through the whole thing. And probably this, out of for it not being a splash page or anything, is probably the most memorable page in the whole book. Really big fan of the Doom Patrol. Try to collect a page from every era. I have on the calf, I have a little folder with just my Doom Patrol pages, and I like to have I have an example of almost every era of the Doom Patrol at this point. So yeah, one of my favorite teams. I'm always happy when they put another out. This is just a great one of Robot Man doing his thing. I like that he's always missing a piece of himself. He's missing a hand in this one, and he really does a good job of beating the hell out of the villain in this page.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous, stunning page, man. I used to own the cover, the wraparound, the number 1.
Oh, you're killing me.
Yeah, I one of the things I don't regret's a strong word, but I wish I had that one. I wish I hadn't parted with that one, but like Rich says, he bought it. He started buying Doom Patrol because of the Lightle art. Me too. That's the reason. I always love the name, the Doom Patrol. It's a pretty killer name. It's something about the word Doom, right? That's what we all love, Dr. Doom, right?
Right.
Doom Patrol sounds awesome. It's just a great title, a great name for a group. And I bought it for the.
I didn't know anything about these. Like, when I picked these issues up, I got the first issue, the first 5 or 6 that Lightle was doing. Yeah, I had no idea, but that wraparound cover was so awesome because it showed almost a complete history of the Doom Patrol in one spread. I remember looking at it going, these characters aren't in the book. because they were pulling from the Silver Age. So yeah, very, very nice. I'll never own that cover, but man, am I happy to just own this page.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. And if you want an example, and they don't come out often. They've never come up often for whatever reason. So yeah, for you to be able to land one that's a strong one, that's great. It's good for you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And you know, I have to mention it. I was already a fan of his because even though I wasn't buying the book, I loved his work on Legion of Superheroes.
That I did not get.
Okay, yeah, me too. Yeah, but I used to love looking at it every time it came in at the store. I'd always pick it up and flip through it, and you know. But I wasn't a science fiction fan, and I wasn't a time travel fan. So that's why I never thought I would enjoy Legion of Superheroes, even though I loved the character designs to most of those members of the team. I just didn't think I'd enjoy the stories, you know. So that's the only reason I didn't buy it. But boy, I loved looking at the art when Lightle was on it. So that's fantastic stuff. And Rich, me too. Me too. 5 issues in, and then he leaves, and I was like, okay, you're gone. I'm gone too. Exactly.
Well, I think a very young Eric Larson took over, and as I've grown up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I correct myself. Thank you, Steve. I correct myself, people. I did not drop it when Lightle left. I do remember continuing with Eric Larson, and as different in approach as the Larson stuff was to the Lightle stuff.
It was jarring. It was
jarring, but in a weird way, it still kind of appealed to me. I was like, I don't know what it is about this stuff. I should be hating this. I feel like I need to hate it, but I kind of like it, and I don't know why. And I just kept buying it. Yeah, so I bought it for a while with Eric Larson. I don't know how long, but not too long. And then I eventually canceled the title, you know. But yeah, the Lightle stuff. Yeah, fantastic. So dearly missed Steve Lightle for sure. Silver Age Legends, the Wolf and Perez Titans. All right, and that's the only thing I was familiar with Doom Patrol wise from that story in the what number 13, 12 and 13, or just 13 was it from the Titans? Yeah, that's the only familiarity I had with them, you know. Doom Patrol was pretty wacky, but had a charm of its own. Okay, Lightle replaced by a legend. Yeah, all right. Thanks, Marcus, for clarifying. 13 and 14. Okay, thank you. All right, let's get to the next piece, everybody. And before we do that real quick, Lee says, a good friend of mine, Tom Taggart, did a bunch of Doom Patrol covers in the late 80s and early 90s. Oh, cool. When Nemesis Kid got killed in Legion of Superheroes, the art was perfect. If that was during the Lightle run, I'm sure it was. Titan Show isn't bad either. I like it. Mento goes wild. Yep. And the last one was it's past Steve's bedtime, and we're only in piece 5.
I got another hour and a half in me. We'll see where it goes.
All right.
I'm having a good time. Thanks, Kasra. You know, nothing like Kasra is going to make me tired before I know I'm supposed to be tired.
There we go. Okay, so here we go. We spoke about this, or Steve spoke about this earlier. I have two slides to show here for reasons that will become apparent. Check it out.
Oh, yes. I was hoping you would pick these.
Yes, look at that, everybody. So, and give a little clarity because it's so much going on, so busy. Jean Day, beautiful. The design work here on these 2 pages, just out of this world. Yeah, fantastic, man. Tell us a little bit about these.
I don't think this is actually a 2-page spread.
No, it's not.
But they go together.
Exactly.
I needed to stitch them together because they work. And anything, if you this is already a Master of Kung Fu 117, and we were talking about Galassi earlier. And really, Jean Day really picked up the baton from what Galassi was doing, and really was able to do some wonderful stuff with it. And really, really let go. It was nice to, and what an, like I said before, what an overlooked book. Even if like kung fu books or karate books or whatever, other than Judo Master, they don't translate to you. There's probably not one collector that wouldn't want to own these pages, just from an art standpoint and a layout. And this one's got an MC Escher feel to it as it's taking you through. You really feel like you're like Shang-Chi is falling from a cliff, hitting the water, coming back up, moving through these stairs. And the way he's crowding everything as you go through it, you feel the choking that Shang-Chi and Death Dealer are going through because of the such crowding of everything that's going on right here. And yet again, another instance of really, really heavy inking, but it just really, really works of making all these steps and granite and all this background pop, and let alone you could still see what the main characters are doing in front. Really, yet like I said, a lot of these pages aren't even pages that I had to think a day about. When this got listed, both of them, I bought both at once, and I don't typically do that. I would buy one or the other, but I felt like these two pages needed to stay together.
Yeah, you're so right. And I mean, it's kind of just designed to look that way for the storytelling purposes. Exactly. And if you look at the stairs, Dan, on the right, that right page you're talking about, it goes from the third, fourth to the fifth panel, right? Your eyes keep going up those stairs, that water pouring down in the first and second panel. So it's definitely designed that way. And then all they do is just kind of they break it up into panels. But yeah, it's fantastic stuff. Great stuff. Sure.
But this is like, I could say this again, this isn't just something, this one issue was done like this. Almost like a lot, unless it was some fill-in artists, the whole series was just done like this. So if you can do yourself a favor, pick up if they reprint them, some of these Master of Kung Fu omnibuses. They're really worth owning in the collection.
Okay. You heard that, everybody. Give MOKF a try. And it is impressive for sure. Interesting how the vertical panels get narrower as it progresses. Exactly. That's also, purposely done. It's really, really cool. All very ingeniously thought out and designed and then executed,
It is a shame that a lot of the Kung Fu pages aren't brought up in the same way that some of the art, like at this time that maybe Byrne was doing or George Perez was doing, because I really, in my opinion, really feel like this matches some of the stuff they were doing, if not artistically even better.
Yeah, I say that often about other teams that don't get and never got the attention they deserved, more often than not because of the level of title that they were on, not as popular, so people don't talk about you, and you kind of got to get your chance on X-Men or Spider-Man in order for the broader audience to see your work.
I mean, could you imagine if Gene Day did an issue of Spider-Man, what that would look like swinging through the city? It would be amazing. But no, the people eyes just weren't on Master of Kung Fu. They just cared enough to keep it going, but no more than that.
That's right. All right, let's keep it going, everybody. From that spectacular 2-page sequence, we go to one of Steve's favorite characters. Check it out. And by the way, when I said earlier that Amazing Spider-Man 238, the first Hobgoblin, was my first ASM book, technically, at the same time that I bought it, I didn't buy it. My sister gave it to me as a Christmas or birthday gift. She had also picked up 237, the issue before, which was an issue with the Stilt Man that you also have a page from.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's just, I like weird characters. in one of my more recent pieces, I kind of compared my artwork collection to maybe like someone's music collection. Like sometimes I'm just in a mood for different things, and sometimes I'm in a mood for something a little highbrow, something a little lowbrow. I understand that Stiltman is a goof and a weird character, but man, I love him. I own an action figure of him. I think he's so ridiculously done, but really look at the design. I mean, it's a Wallywood design of the character. So how bad could it be? And when things show up where it's featuring Stiltman, I just like to get it. This might be one of the best, other than Frank Miller did a wonderful Stiltman story, and I would love to have a page from that, but I'd probably be, and I don't even need Daredevil on it. And so I would probably still never be able to afford that story. But yeah, he did a really nice Stiltman story back in the day. This is really good. This is a lot of fun. This is actually Captain America, but no Captain America is on the page. I don't even think I read this issue, but for whatever reason, Robbins is drawing Ghost Rider, fighting the Trapster with Stiltman triumphant in the center. He's breaking up all the panels as you read through it. It's some people hate Frank Robbins, some don't. I think it depends on what day Frank Robbins woke up doing the artwork. Sometimes this stuff is real stiff and weird looking. Sometimes it's not. This is one I really like. And like I said, I didn't hesitate on getting it because it features one of my favorite oddball characters. So if anybody's got any Stiltman art they want to get rid of, you can look towards me.
There you go. Barry really looks like he may have influenced the final product. Doesn't look like a Frank Robbins page, and I think a lot of us are going, "Oh, thank God." Yeah, man. I mean, although interesting, what a weird choice, because Bruce Barry was, like you guys say, he was Kirby's inker for a couple of years, maybe in the 70s on that DC stuff. Yeah, he didn't spend that much time in comics, and I think I mentioned that a few episodes ago. That was because he was already a professional advertisement illustrator for 29 years before he broke into comics. So there you go. And CJ wants you to know, Steve, that you made a good analogy, and his music taste is all over the place.
Yes, I don't. Sometimes I just want stuff that's fun and silly, like and this one's fun and silly, and I couldn't pass up on it. Maybe it wouldn't be if it was just Ghost Rider fighting Trapster, but with Stiltman, and he's kind of looking badass in the middle of it for Stiltman. He's probably the best he's ever looked. Like
I said, I'm a fan of Stiltman. Yes, I recognize that it's a silly concept, right? Like when you see him as high or higher than skyscrapers, right? And you're just looking at that and you're thinking, well, in reality, if even if he was able to extend the legs that high and get as high as the skyscrapers, peak, all you'd have to do is just tap the guy, tap him with a finger, and he'd be timber.
Yeah, so I'm fairly certain Spider-Man has wrapped his legs up more than once and just had him fall over. But he keeps showing up. I mean, they haven't gotten rid of him. I was really excited. One episode of Daredevil, they did have in the background a Stiltman suit. One of the Gladiator they were in his workshop, and they had in the background, you could see Stiltman suit.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll show. They didn't show up, but I was excited at the time.
Yeah. Another character I always loved because of the Miller Daredevil run made me love it. Gladiator. With those.
I like Daredevil's Rogues Gallery.
Yeah, me too.
I like Leapfrog or Frogman or whatever he is, and
yeah, me too. One of my all-time favorite Daredevil issues is I want to say 154. Gorgeous Gene Colan cover. Not only is the art gorgeous, but the colors on that cover are spectacular. And he's fighting. He's surrounded. Daredevil's being surrounded by his Rogues Gallery. Yeah, fantastic issue. One of my favorite issues of all time. Beautiful stuff. Isn't that silly? Steve, you've encouraged me to post my page from DD102, I think, of Stiltman. I hope it's got Stiltman. That'd be pretty cool.
Well,
I look forward to seeing
were you hiding it? You weren't getting, like, now you're coming out of the Stiltman closet and gonna post your page from. I'm excited to see it.
So is this true? Does he really have? Do they have Kite Man at Marvel?
Kite Man is from DC.
There is a Kite Man.
That's funny. Oh yeah, I like Kite Man too. I remember there's some Batman issue or Detective Comics where there's a very small. Both Batman and Kite Man are fighting, and Batman's on his kite and Kite Man's on his, and it's a really fun cover. Like, that would be one I wouldn't mind owning. I remember having that as a kid.
Cool. Look forward to seeing it, Cab. Lots of Stiltman. Awesome. All right, let us move on, everybody, to the next piece. And for that, we go from Stiltman to Werewolf by Night, but not Don Perlin. Tom Sutton, pencils and inks, everybody. There is an artist who I think is better than his lack of popularity would make you think.
Oh, Tom. I mean, it depends who you are. If you're a Marvel horror guy, if you like Bronze Age Marvel horror, Tom Sutton's top tier for sure. He's done Frankenstein. He did Man-Thing. He did Werewolf by Night. If I'm not mistaken, he did Living Mummy. They knew where that guy could shine, and he could shine very, very well in Bronze Age Marvel monster books, which I wish I kept or collected more of them. But now they're very hard to get. And this is another one I'm really, really happy to get. I didn't read this issue until later on in life. This is they moved Sutton on after Plug. I think it was a good transition. Does a really, really nice job of showing water, making you feel like the werewolf's actually wet. Surrounding him, the line work, the very thin line work going through the whole thing, showing the backgrounds and the werewolf's fur. Like, Sutton is as good a penciler as he is an inker. And they are smart to let him just do all the artwork through. I don't know if he did it through the whole series, but this issue was at 9. Really, really, really strong stuff. Really, I think Sutton really shines through this whole thing.
I agree. Beautiful stuff. Hey, Alex, good evening to you, sir. Says, I've been seeing a lot of Sutton art on Heritage. Tempted, but never went after them.
Yes, Alex. Yes, there's been. I saw that too. A lot of Werewolf by Night. A collector must be slowly unloading his Sutton Werewolf by Night. If there's other stuff, maybe I'm only seeing the Werewolf by Night stuff. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. You can watch Heritage. You could be like, oh, this one collector liked Wally Wood. This one collector liked Monsters. This one collector liked Justice League Dick Dillon. Somebody really likes Werewolf by Night, and they're slowly getting rid of their collection. They've been going for good prices too, $3 to $5 grand.
Yep, exactly. Let me see. Comic Art Boston says it's his estate. I think could be that is the case for some of the art that you see a lot of, like everything being inked by Palmer right now. It's
right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Tom Palmer's releasing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that is.
Which is just cool to see it like exist. You don't have to own it. It's just see it come out in the wild.
Sounds good, Corey. Have a good one. Yeah, exactly. Okay, excellent. Let us move on from Mr. Sutton. Move back to DC to one of the greatest draftsmen ever to lay pencil to paper, and a back cover that I remember fondly from your first year of collecting, Steve.
I got this from Rich.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yes. I want Rich. You still there, or are you still? Do you still wish you had this one? Are you happy I still have it and didn't sell it? Because I've had this one for like for about 10 years now. So really happy to have it. This goes back, but Garcia-Lopez, like that is. to like he's the perfect DC artist.
Oh,
like he's the one that like he did the design books. He did the way he told all the artists what the characters were supposed to look like. He is the perfect DC artist. It's wonderful that he's still alive. He's still doing wonderful work. He's still doing great commissions. I got this for Garcia-Lopez, but I also got this for the weird collection of 1985 DC characters that they were trying to make hot again. Or were up and coming. A lot of these characters barely exist anymore. Some still do, but it's really, really nice to have a Garcia-Lopez Amethyst in the corner. It's cool to have a Blue Devil in there. And then you even see Space Jonah Hex. To me, I like this thing is just so much fun. I can't afford too many covers, but at the time I was really, really thrilled to be able to even just own a back cover. The front of this has all your main heroes, your Superman, your Batman, your Wonder Woman, but I don't even think I would trade it for that cover because I like these oddball characters that much more. And really, really love the fact that they're, the way that he designed them hanging off the letters and doing the Will Eisner, letting the letters go back and forth. Black Lightning holding on to the edges. It's just really, really cool. This one I still have framed. I don't own a lot of DC work, but this Garcia-Lopez is certainly a keeper.
Oh, it sure certainly should be. Yeah, it's fantastic. And
Marcus Pariah was hot. They wanted Pariah to be hot, but it did not work so well. Did not work so well for DC or Pariah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after Crisis, did Pariah not come out? I don't know, over the ensuing decades, isn't he? I could swear I seen him around vaguely here and there. No, or is he just gone and never seen from again? I would swear. You'd
have to ask it. I'm sure, like anybody else, I'm sure Jeff Johns brought him back at some point.
Yeah,
but you'd have to ask the DC guy. But everybody comes back eventually for a second or whatever else. But I'm fairly certain all these characters exist in some form or another. Amethyst even comes back every once in a while.
Right. Oh yeah, exactly. Hey, Carl, that's going to be good for you. Honolulu. Going to see Garcia-Lopez. That's awesome. And, okay. Oh, Lee. Did Lee say goodnight? Hold on. Did I miss that? Oh, no. He's saying goodnight to Cab. I see. Cab. That's Cab saying goodnight to you. Okay. But Cab's still here. Really cool cover. Says Mickey. Yeah, absolutely. And take care. Psycho Pirate was more. Oh, wait.
If Psycho Pirate was on this back cover, that would excite me too. Probably more than almost anybody else.
Wait. I think I just confused myself. Who was the character we were just talking about that I asked about whether he was
Pariah?
Oh, shit. I'm confusing Pariah with Psycho Pirate. Okay, wait. Oh, right. But both of those guys were always in the Crisis. Right, they were in Crisis, right?
Yeah, they were main players in Crisis.
Main players, right. Okay, but no, but I'm thinking about the right guy. The guy in green is Pariah, right?
Right.
With the hood. Yeah. Okay. Steve, where did you get your shirt? Says Carl.
A lot of Misfits love. I got it from like a designer in Indianapolis at some Indianapolis art fair. So I don't remember the name, but I don't think you can buy it anywhere.
There you go.
There. I just don't want you to have
a rare collectible that he's wearing right now. Look at that. Ian tells us that he was part of the Dark Crisis event last year. I've already forgotten about something called Dark Crisis. Way too many things called Crisis over the last 15, 20 years. It's ridiculous. But okay, yeah, that's what I figured. So you have to be back at some point, right? They always do, like you said, Steve. And I thought it was a Green Day shirt. Yeah, shirt. Fighting words. Okay. Let me see. All right, let's get on to the next one, everybody. Now we're starting to roll, so we're going to catch up. And we go to number 11, and for that we hit probably back to Marvel, I think. Let me see. Let's check it out.
More than likely.
More than likely, exactly. Yeah, look at that. Machine Man by Jack Kirby and Mike Royer from 1978. And what a splendidly spectacular example of a Jack Kirby Machine Man page with him in every single panel and like running in 3 of them in motion. I mean, yeah, I love this page, man.
You know what? I love it too. I love Machine Man. It's just a character that, yet again, I know he's a goofy character. I know, it's not hidden on me, but there's something like that I really love about a character that's a robot that just has all these human thoughts constantly, and he's trying to relate to humans, and like us as being like nerdy comic guys and whatever else, we could probably relate to us, relate to feeling like that sometimes, just being out with society, being like, I don't relate to these people that I have to deal with at work or at school or whatever else. So in some ways, that's why I find Machine Man a little bit more relatable to me. Really, the fun stuff is in this one isn't Machine Man. It is nice to see him running. It'd be, even nicer if he was extending an arm, but you don't get anything. Yeah. You don't get everything. But the junk, Kirby drawing the junk in the front and the world, and even the beat up soldiers. To me, that's part of the fun of all this is just Kirby just being Kirby and really just drawing the hell out of electronics and machines and really, even though they're junked, if you look at a Fantastic Four book or anything else, the things that you love about Kirby is him drawing robotics and him drawing machines and and whatever else. It's just a really, really nice page. Yet again, I could have picked up more machine pages as they were coming out. I got this fairly early in my collecting, around 2012. They weren't that hard to come by. Now they are. But that was around the time I was just trying to get one of every artist I liked. I didn't need 10 Machine Man pages. Happy to have this one, though.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And yeah, sure, like you say, in a perfect world, yes, would you like him extending the arm? Of course, whatever, but it's tough enough, with one-of-a-kind collectibles like this, to get something this high level as it is, let alone, trying to be so picky and choosy that you're going to be like, nah, you know what? I think I'll pass on this one too, and wait for the page that comes along that has him in all panels plus extending the arm. You know what I mean? Like,
right. And I could have done that. And I was like, if you've been collecting as, at least from around when I started heavy around the mid 2000s, you always felt like I could sell a piece and get this one back eventually. I just, or right. I could trade a piece and then I'll get another Machine Man later on. That's done. Like, you trade a piece, you might never get another one again. So that's why people hold on to stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And good evening, my friend Adam. What is up? Adam Law in the house.
Hi, Adam. I've hung out with him a couple times. Nice guy. Really like Adam.
Yeah, I did a show and tell with him several months back. Yeah, last year. And let's see. So, another guy pointing out. Rickster points out that he loves the middle panel. Yeah, I love all of them.
Yeah.
I love the last panel. I just love the way he's hiding behind the wall. I love that on that last
listening
panel.
In. Yep.
Yeah. Just around the corner, like some secret super spy or whatever.
Yeah, and you kind of like get a bonus like Kirby War page. Like one panel you get a Kirby Machine Man 2001, but then you get a nice little war panel at the bottom, which is a nice addition.
Yeah, exactly. That's for Peter. Peter Rowe, baby. That last panel's for you. You got some Kirby War art. There you go. Awesome.
I'll cut that out to you and send it.
Like they used to do in the old days. Oh, sure.
Yeah, once in a while you'll see somebody post one panel. I got this one.
Yeah. Tech Wreckage is right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Sonny. What's up, Sonny? traded a strip last year when it came up for sale recently, and I bought it back.
Oh, I have a couple I've gotten back, but there's something. Yeah.
Sometimes you get that. Sometimes you're fortunate enough to get that comeback, opportunity, but usually no, So that's the thing. So okay, excellent. Yeah, no, that was fun. Let me see. I only like war art. Well, that's why I figured I got to pick something that I knew you probably be here. I figured I'd have something that's kind of war-ish for you, and that's the closest I could get.
Peter, I got a couple of Creature Commandos page. Does that count? Probably not.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I figured that Creature Commandos, I thought, if I put that for Peter's probably get insulted because I think he only likes the serious stuff, Okay. So I was like, no, I'll leave the Creature Commandos out. So I did not pick Creature Commandos for tonight. But there you go. At least you got something, Peter. All right. Let us move on, everyone, to slide number 12. And for that, we go to this.
Oh, the Creature.
Well,
yeah, screw you, Peter. We're going to show you a Creature Commandos page, whether you like it or not.
Screw you, Peter. This is so perfect. I love the fact that I was bursting at the seams that it was like the perfect timing, right? That I had to say that to Peter. And I'm like, oh my God, look what's coming up. Oh my God, I can't wait to do this.
I mean, come on. Does it get any more serious than Frankenstein riding a bomb down, Dr. Strangelove style? It doesn't really get any more serious than that. I mean, it really just brings a tear to your eye to see.
No, and and you know what, Steve? Though I gotta say, okay, the reason I was originally gonna not put Creature Commandos, but when I saw this page, I kid you not, aesthetically speaking, this is one of my absolute favorites that I'm showing tonight.
I can see that.
I know most people won't see that. Most people won't, though. They're going to be like, what? What are you talking about? Why are you showing this for? This looks, to me, so much in the vein of what Alex Toth does. It's just the design, panel to panel, like each individual panel on its own. The lighting is absolutely astonishingly spectacular. The shadow and light technique, it's just amazing. Great movement in that series of last final 5 panels with him riding the bomb down. Everything about it is just spectacular example of comic book artwork from an artist who does not get attention.
I mean, there's some Spiegle stuff is good. Some is great. This one falls into the great category. Definitely Dan Spiegle was feeling very, very inspired when he did this panel. Maybe he just recently watched Dr. Strangelove at the time and wanted to do, or the writer maybe did and said, maybe watch this movie. I bought this when Dan was still alive, and the nice part of it is I got a Christmas card from Dan Spiegle and his wife after I purchased it. Yeah, it was a really, really nice surprise to get, before he died. Bought it from Carlin. I remember looking for Creature Commandos pages. He didn't even have them listed. And he said, and Carlin says, hey, what are you looking for? And I had to go find Creature Commandos books, take pictures of them, email them to Carlin. Carlin looked for the pages. He had none of them listed. And this was the one of them that I really liked. Carlin went back to Spiegle, got it back to me. I bought it and have, and I've been holding on to this one for, 12 years now. And I've had people ask about this one to sell it. I'm going to keep a hold on it. I really, really enjoy having it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think this is the kind of thing that is so, financially speaking, so cheap, it's not even worth parting with. You know what I mean? Right. Like for whatever the amount of money it is that this thing is worth, it's just not. You'll get way more enjoyment out of it than you will money. That's right. What I'm saying.
And it's nice to have pages like that where you're just sitting there and you're like, yeah, this is Dan Spiegle drawing Creature Commandos. And a lot of people don't care or whatever, but I like it and it's special to me. That's for sure. I like those characters. As a kid, we talk about stuff. I didn't get much DC, but damn it, if I saw Creature Commandos Weird War Tales with the monsters on it, I was buying that. There's like didn't matter. I was buying that book because who didn't want to see Frankenstein, Wolfman, and Dracula fighting in World War II?
Yeah. Yeah, but this as far as this page goes, spectacular, man. And like,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, CJ mentions, that it's a great film-like page, and yeah, it's very cinematic. As I look through it, the storytelling is incredibly cinematic. It does look like I'm looking at film stills. Yeah, it's spectacular. Like I said, it may even be my actual top favorite of the ones that we're showing tonight, but definitely one of the top for sure. I just loved it. I just wanted to give this one some love, even though I figured, I know a lot of people won't care about, Frankenstein riding the bomb, but I'm glad we could show it off and talk about it a little bit.
That you know what? And I super appreciate that, Ruben. I'm glad you picked this one out because probably most people wouldn't even give this one a second thought, but it's really nice.
Yeah, the idea of a squad of monsters fighting during World War II was ridiculous and silly and maybe just the coolest thing ever.
Yep. I like you, Caesar. I like the cut of your jib.
That's it. But yeah, I'm so happy to have had the opportunity to show that off. And yeah, that's part of the fun of doing this show, It's like picking things that I know like the masses may not give a shit about. I get that. And I do try to pick things that a combination of things that I like, but also because I know that we have an audience, I do try to think of what they will like, and try to pick as many things that something for everybody kind of thing,
Or better yet, something they don't realize they would like until they see it. Right. I think that's right. The coolest thing has been like, who's that artist? What book is that? That's amazing. Right. Even if they can't buy it, maybe they could read it. Right.
Well, as in this case with this Spiegle page, that exactly this time, that was the reasoning for me picking that page was, okay, I want to expose this guy. And to be honest, I've been quietly exposing him to the audience lately. Like, this is probably the second or
Hear
third.
The exposing jokes, by the way.
I figured that, yeah, I know. And it came out of my mouth. I was like, oh, I know these guys are riding me. Oh, here we go again with my riding me. Whatever. But yeah, I wanted to give Spiegle some love. And so, yeah, I've done it a few times of late. So it's cool that I was able to do that again. That's awesome. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome. My pleasure for sure. And cue the jokes. Exposing in 3, 2, 1. Ruben the Exposer. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I mean, we go from jeans to exposing yourself. So it's really coming full circle tonight, Ruben.
It's all for a full circle. That's what happens when I tell stories about my days of my misspent youth with crotchless jeans. Exposing himself to his audience since 2021. Ruben the trench coat guy. For a while I wore a trench coat, believe it or not. It seemed cool at the time, but thank God that ended. Ruben, you have a Spiegle squirrel. Well, Heart's making a reference to the fact that I recently bought a killer page from The Shadow from Heart by Dan Spiegle.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
That's somebody else in the back of my brain that I need to read or get more comics from, or I just don't know a lot about The Shadow, but I want to. I'm willing to learn.
Yeah. All right, everybody, let us move on from the Creature Commandos and the beautiful artwork to more beautiful artwork, but back at Marvel's Epic line, I wanted to say it's called. It was Epic, I believe. Anyways, you guys remember this. This was a fun comic when it came out. I don't remember anything about it, but I remember loving it at the time. Check it
out. If you were buying comics around this time and you were getting this, you really, really felt like you were getting away with something. You really, I mean, this was by far the most adult thing that I should not have been able to buy. and it was awesome. Now, like this one had cussing, it had nudity, it had explosions, it had people being dismembered. Before there was the Punisher. I mean, there was Judge Dredd before this, and it very much got a Judge Dredd vibe going to it. But this was definitely the Boys before the Boys,
right?
Where martial law, who really did not speak very much, just walked around destroying horrible, horrible superheroes. This is really, really nice Kevin O'Neill artwork, fully painted watercolor. One of the few completely painted pieces that I have. I wish I could hand it to each one of you and see it in person. The way this scan is good, but it's really, really not as good as just seeing this beautiful piece in person. And yet again, it's a weird character. I don't have a lot of independent artwork, but this was one of those books that, as I got it for more nostalgia than I got it for artistically, but later on I came to appreciate Kevin O'Neill even more. And yeah, this is yet again one of these pieces that I don't know if I'd ever let it go, or it'll be a long time. For a while, a lot of people were like asking for this piece, and there's just not a lot of martial law pieces that go up anymore. I think a few handful of collectors like this character, like this book, and they've all pretty much dried up.
Yeah, I agree. And interestingly enough, much like the first piece in tonight's show and tell, the Colan Dracula, you got your one piece of martial law art, and it's a huge splash page.
I don't need to look for any more.
You got like this ginormously incredible example where it's like, yeah, you're one and done. And
I have to, a nice Chicago collector, you guys all know him, Chris Kalacki, had this one, and I mentioned it to him, and he said, "Do you want it?" And I said, "I'd love to have it." Me and him went out for a drink one night, and he brought it, and I gave him a check and bought him a drink, and he handed it over to me, and it's really, really super nice that Chris went out and did that for me.
Yeah, Chris is a lovely guy too. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. I don't know. There's nobody that doesn't like that guy. Like, he's just a really,
yeah, exactly. He's one of those guys. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Pat Mills was the writer. Exactly. Yeah. All righty, let us keep moving it along, everybody, and we will go to number 14. Here we go. Check it out.
Ooh, this is a good one too.
Oh, I love this one. Yeah, I love Alfredo Alcala. So yeah. This I had to choose this.
I'm always in the search for a little bit more Alcala artwork if it pops up.
Not surprised.
His inking on Buscema is incredible. But in his own right, he's a great draftsman on his own, even without inking. This one is a great page. It's a really, really nice Doctor Strange piece, and a really, really nice example. It's got Klee in it. It's got skeletons. Yet again, somebody that could do really, really nice robes, be able to show a lot of the movement. And it was brought up to me that this is opposed to, if you look at it, to one of the very, very first issues of Superman, and his pose is very Superman-like.
Oh, it's funny that when I was turning the images into the slide, I was like, I kept looking at it and thinking, why does this have some familiarity to me when I look at that Doctor Strange? I was like, I don't know. There's something about it seems familiar, but I couldn't pinpoint it. And that's what it is. Holy crap. Wow. Thanks for mentioning that, Steve. That's awesome.
I don't know. It doesn't strike me as Alcala would have stolen it, but maybe he did. But
yeah. It could be coincidence. It could be coincidence, but it's like 50-50. I feel like it's as much chance that it's a coincidence as, he could have simply have seen the image recently at the time and said, hey, you know what? I'll use that and use the pose for the Doctor Strange page. Like who knows?
Right.
Right?
And I'm sure Tom would know quicker than I would. And I'm sure Tom would know quicker than I would what would I mean issue of Superman it was, whether it's a trade or whatever. But I think everybody kind of knows that pose of Superman, very early Silver Age pose. But I think it makes it even cooler, in my opinion. It's taken like that. This is definitely one of those pages I owned. I traded it, and then I really regretted trading it and got it back. So
this one?
happy, yeah. This one I traded it, and then I went and begged, and then cried a little bit, and then begged some more. And the guy that I traded it back to gave it back to me, but I can't. I think I had to give an arm and a leg back for it, but I think it's worth having back in my collection. I'm really, really happy to have it.
No, fantastic! Wow, I mean, yeah,
Superman #1 Golden Age Schuster pose. Thanks, Kavi. You're there for everybody, buddy. You really are.
Well, in fairness, a bunch of other people also pointed it out that it was from Superman 1. So,
oh, I only saw it in the little square. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. Chuck, you're good too.
Yeah, and Carl. That's so funny. Golden Age for sure. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And as I often say, I'm known for loving skulls and skeletons in my illustration art. So that makes this page even like 10 times as good as it already is to me personally, you know?
And this, like, I didn't buy a lot of Doctor Strange, but as a kid, for some reason, I did have this issue. Don't know why. Maybe it was, given it to me or whatever else, but I did have this issue and was happy to have, those few issues that you have as a kid that you really, really like, to get a page from it. That's just icing on the cake.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, it's fantastic. And interestingly enough, not an issue that Alcala inked, but that he penciled and inked.
Right.
Like you didn't see him do that very often in the superhero realm.
They should have let him. They should have just let him go, especially if he wanted to do Marvel horror. Let him do it. Like he's on par with Sutton here.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous stuff for sure. Absolutely. Exactly. CJ, great Doctor Strange page for sure. All right. Let us move on to the next piece. For that, I will have 2 slides and another penciler inker combo that I love, and a lot of people do, of course. Known for these characters. Check it out.
Rick Leonardi and Terry Austin. Leonardi is great in his own right, but Austin, he makes everybody look better. No matter, you could be a great penciler, Austin's going to make you look 10 times, like even better than that. And really, everybody talks about Byrne and Austin, but really Leonardi and Austin were a great combo. Now, this is not a 2-page spread, by the way. This is 1/2 of a board on the upper top.
Yeah.
So this was just a 1/2-page ad, so it's only a 1/2-page drawn. I got this in trade from Mr. Jeff Singh, by the way. I don't know if he's still here, but he's a big Cloak and Dagger fan. He had it. I traded him, I want to say, a Bernie Wrightson unpublished Spirit page for this. I think it was a pretty even page, and I think at the time Jeff was just being a little nice to me. So happy to have this one. Yet again, you get Cloak and Dagger. You get Dagger looking with a wonderful hot pose. You get Cloak with that flowing cape behind him. Leonardi just does a great job with Cloak. Really, Leonardi is the Cloak and Dagger artist. There's nobody has ever done a better job. Maybe Blevins would be a second. And who doesn't like Dr. Doom hanging out in the background? And really, it's nice to just have an ad like in your collection, because really a lot of times those little mini half ads that you were getting in comics told their own story just then. You didn't even need to read the comic book. You just had that nice ad, or it made you want to get the book. But this one, definitely, I remember seeing as a kid and buying those 50-cent Marvel Age and really, really just enjoying that top that top part.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And by the way, everybody, if you go to Steve's, if you look at this piece in Steve's gallery and you look at the description, he mentioned something to the effect of, "Oh, the things that Jeff and I had to do together for me to get this page." So
you're talking about stuff that I wrote 10 years ago. So, and I didn't know what you're gonna pick. So yeah. That was my little wink to mess with Jeff. But then again, it gets 18 comments, so more than one person has read that. So I don't care. Like the one thing I do with the comments or whatever else, I try to have fun. And if I know the person, maybe I'll make a joke or whatever else. I'll never try to make fun of the artwork itself. But if you can, maybe there's a panel, like same way, sometimes a comment on CAF isn't really a comment as much as saying hello, or if it's a buddy, you give them a nice nudge.
Right. And perfect time, I suppose, to mention that at some point in August, who knows, the way things go, it could be September, whatever, we'll see. I'm gonna do a show. I guess I'll keep who's going to be on it for a surprise, but I'm going to do a show that's related to CAF and social media in general, etiquette. So all the etiquette, that goes in behind and into, leaving comments, liking comments, posting one page versus a dump of 8 pages, all that kind of stuff, and the etiquette that goes behind that.
Is Alberto going to be on the show as just like a cautionary tale? He could be a cautionary tale.
Exactly. It hasn't been. I haven't decided. Who's going to be on, whatever. But I think listen. The idea was brought to me by my friend. I'm not even mentioning, even though he's watching tonight. I'm not going to say who it is, just because we don't have nothing scheduled yet or whatever. But we want to do it. I think it's, and honestly, I think it's for newer collectors especially, who've only been in less than 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. I think it's helpful. If you want to meet new people, there's certain things you should or shouldn't do socially or whatever. So yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. So anyways, so stay tuned for that. Say again, Steve.
That'd be a fun show. It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I think there's more to it. I think there's more to it than you would think. And really, and even if you go into manners with dealing of asking for a price or giving a price or these kind of things, there's a certain etiquette to it. And even just trying to reply within 12 hours to something, but whatever, it could be a whole thing.
Okay, so I didn't know if you wanted me to mention it, but Kavi, spoilers, it's me. But it was Kavi who chatted to me and brought the idea and mentioned the idea to me, and so I thought, well, we have a lot to talk about still in terms of who we should have on with us, and I thought, being that he came up with the idea, I was going to sort of let him have more of a say as to who he'd like to have on. So we will see. But look at that. Did you notice, Steve? Did you notice as soon as you mentioned him, Alberto says, "I'll be happy to be your guest."
Yeah.
Of course you will. Well, we'll see what we do.
Like a cartoon arrow or a dunce cap. How about a dunce cap?
That's the only way you're getting on. You got to wear one of those. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, we'll see. But it should be fun. So it should be fun. Ruben the Emily post. And once the CAF app is out, it will be even easier to post comments and like art. It's about time someone taught these kids some manners. Educating. Flying with surf from the left, here from the right. Ruben, the Reader's Digest. Nice. Top 10 things not to put in CAF comments. Definitely sounds like a fun topic for a show. Thank you, Carl. All props to Kavi. Should be fun. Kavi, I'll wear a dress for you. That's okay. I'll keep commenting on yours anyways. All right, excellent. So let's keep it rolling, everybody. And for the next piece, we go to this one. Again, our second Gene Colan piece of the night, Marvel Superheroes number 15, inked by Vinnie Coletta.
Well, you know what? I've never seen it in color. In my mind, Medusa was wearing an all blue costume.
Interesting.
I like this was yet another one that I feel like I gotten really, really early in my collecting, 2015. I guess not that early. Really, really fun. Like, I mean, if I got to say anything about Gene Colan, he does movement great. And you could really, you really feel like Medusa's like taking her hair and swinging it around the Eiffel Tower and going through the banisters and then Black Bolt picking her up. But really, you know, those last three panels are okay, but those top three, Gene did a great job of just laying them out and showing the movement and like Medusa, yet again, one of those characters that I think is a little oddball. A lot of people like her, but I still think she's a little oddball. And what a weird power set to have, but like really, really fun. This one, a lot of writing in the sides and in the back and all around the edges. I won't get into all the different things, but it really, really felt like there was a lot of direction going on with this. You got Vinnie Coletta inking. He does a decent job with the first three panels. It's almost like he didn't ink it, but not such a great one with the last three. And I could see that.
Well, yeah. I think it seems like the sense that I got from looking at the layout is it's like he really envisioned those first three panels and thought, oh yeah, I'm going to make a nice job with the long elongated three consecutive panels to show, the fact that, the tower has to be in there. So we make it narrow and tall, these panels. But I think he maybe made them too long, and it sort of forced him to have to squeeze in the final three. So I feel like he's forced the final three panels into the page. Yeah,
it's like a TV show where you're like the last 5 minutes of the show, they just tie like it's great, and they're like, and we're done.
Right. We gotta finish. This is the last page, so I gotta squeeze it in.
But something like this is 2/3 of the book, of the page, and sometimes 2/3 is worth it. Is those top three panels are worth owning the whole thing. It just steals the show. Nobody needs to really care about what's going on at the bottom with what he's doing at the top. And really, like, Coletta does not like that first panel. I think he actually saw that like Colan did a good job and it took some time inking that first panel. It's not clunky or anything. There's actually like some nice thin feathering going on with it and some nice shadowing. I don't know. I think sometimes Vince Coletta cared, and a lot of times, more times he didn't. In that first panel, it looks like he actually gave a damn.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's every now and then he did.
Vinny is a Silver Age legend, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I highlighted that already. Yeah. They're all legends, baby. They're all legends, no matter who it is. If you liked them or hated them back in the day, they're all legends today, Okay. Oh, and Lee says, considering how much dialogue is on there, they both did a tremendous job. That's a factor too. Good point, Lee. And Marvel pages with margin dialogue suggestions are even more unique and historical, said by the guy who likes only war art.
Yeah, but it looks like they really rethought this one. This one has a lot more than typical.
Yeah, saved Vinny. Although that's what he was known for, Kasra, right? Saving books. That's why he was always gainfully employed. But you be a book saver, you're not going to put out the best quality. That's just normal. It is what it is. And he made a lot of money that way, and it's a job too. It's not like most of these guys weren't thinking, "Hey, I'm creating art here." It was a job for the vast majority of them, So that's it. Cover on this one is rare to find. Great book. Yep. And he definitely was fast. That's for sure, CJ. There are legends and there are legends among legends. And Vinny was the legend among legends.
Yeah.
All right. Let us keep this rolling. And from the legend, a true legend, let me see. We go to this one, the one that James Siegel was waiting for. Maybe he's here, maybe he's not. Whatever. Let's see if he pops in.
Well, wait, is James? Are you here? If I got to have James. James loves this one.
I know he's in and out, so I don't know if he's here right now. But talk about it, and maybe he's listening but not watching, and he'll come in and when he hears us talk about it.
This one, I would have to say, and these are big words, that Paul Smith, even though he has done a very slight amount of comic book work, is probably my favorite. I mean, this is saying a lot, and maybe this would change, but he's probably my favorite comic book artist.
Oh wow, nice. I wouldn't have been surprised if you were. I thought you were about to say that he's my favorite X-Men artist, and that wouldn't have been a big deal to say. But he
definitely is my favorite X-Men artist.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah.
And he, with like, what was it, 10 and a half issues he did. But he really, I mean, I wish the guy would have kept on it. Did some wonderful Doctor Strange stuff. And then faded out, rode his motorcycle away and didn't work very much after that. This is one of the very, very, I think there's only 2 pages that he penciled and inked himself. And I think this really, really shows. The artist edition for Paul Smith is coming out fairly soon. This one will be in it. I'm really proud that this one made it in. Another, love the layout, love the mirror image of what's going on with it, where you have the 4 panels on the top going from big to small and then small to big with Kitty Pryde waking up at the bottom. Paul just did a terrific job of making, like, turning the X-Men into his own thing. All the characters were drawn in his style. He wasn't mimicking anybody. I don't know where Paul came from or where, what he was looking at. I mean, there does seem like a little bit of anime kind of look to what he does, but yeah, this is probably my most asked for piece, whether I'd sell it or not, which, I always look at that as a compliment rather than somebody bugging me. And the storyline was great. Colossus being collapsed by the Morlocks in the tunnel, and then his love waking up on the other side of things as he's thinking about her. It's just a great page. Paul had this up on his website, and it actually sat for a decent amount of time before it sold. And I hemmed and hawed about it. And Rob, look at it. I asked Rob, I was like, should you buy this? And Rob emailed me and messaged me back. He goes, you should buy that right now. And that was when I was like, well, if Rob's telling me to do it, I better do it. And I bought it, and it's one of my favorites. It's a great page, very big gem in my collection.
And Peter is asking, are the commissions on the wall on the left, to your right, by Paul Smith?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've done a very, very, if you look at my calf and click the Paul Smith, you can see all the different drawings I've got by Paul. I do not have a lot of pages by him. As a matter of fact, I only have 1 page by him, but I do have a good amount of his website drops.
Oh yeah, and am I correctly informed that when he does those, single, sometimes double character, no background pieces, are they typically only like $200?
$200 for a single character, $400 for 2 characters.
Oh, okay.
He's giving them away.
So he doubles it for the second character. Yeah. I mean, when I've heard $200, because most of the time I see these single character ones, and I'm just like, when somebody told me it was $200, I was like, nah, that can't be. He must be getting the wrong information or whatever. And then, wow, now you're confirming.
You got it. Yeah.
I wonder if anybody ever told him. I wonder if he knows, or he just doesn't.
He knows. He knows. I think he just. I think it's just like kind of, this is what I think it's worth. I'm going to do it because I like to do it, and $200. Like it's like Fugazi with $5 concert tickets. That's how much they're going to charge, and they're not going to charge anymore. Right. I'm fairly certain he could just draw Wolverine on 8.5 by 11 over and over and sell them for $1,200 a pop if he wanted to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Oh, sorry for the misspelling there, Rich. I just wanted to say yes, that's right. He offers them on his website, Peter.
Happy Trails. Look up, Peter, look Happy Trails Paul Smith in Google. You'll find his website.
There you go. Oh, James came, finally arrived, because Alberto texted him. Caught the small with Paul Smith on rewind, was putting the kiddo to bed.
James, you weren't watching this with your son?
There you go. Thank you. Okay, excellent. Let's keep it rolling. And from Paul Smith, we go to another legend. And I've got
it's all legends, Ruben. All legends.
That's why I'm saying it, because they're all legends. Why not? Keep using that word. Keep overusing that word. But in this case, it's fair enough. Fair enough for sure. So let's check it out.
Oh, this is another one that I would not have guessed you to pick, but thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because who cares about Aqualad?
Yeah, it's not. But
I care.
But look at the artwork, though. Look. Come on.
This is like pure perfect George Perez time, right? Like this is when he was doing Titans. They had him do the Who's Who book. Aqualad and Aqualad look great, but man, the background on this, the amount of detail Perez used to be able to put into work is just amazing. Really love this page. Robert Frey sold this to me a long time ago, which I'm surprised because he's such a good George Perez. I remember him sending me an email and he said, "It's your lucky day. I'll sell this to you today." And he's a really, really nice guy. And
who did you say, Steve?
Robert Frey.
This is Robert Frey who sold you this one. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he owns all of George Perez's work, so it's an 80% chance if you buy something, he has owned it at one point. But look at the background of that. Look at the octopus. Look at the fish. Look at the Atlantis in the background. Even look at all the little bubbles floating around our two main characters. It's really, they look great, but really it's the background of this that he put into it that really steals the whole piece away from it. It's amazing what he was doing at this time. Look at Aqualas's feet and all the little bubbles surrounding her feet. That's just, and her costume. It's a delight. It's real. And like I said, I like weird characters. I like Aqualad because you know why? Nobody likes Aqualad, so somebody has to. So that's why.
Come on, show some love for Garth, everyone.
Yeah, there's got to be one other collector, but yeah, this is really, really nice.
Rich is asking, Steve, so detailed with George's inks. Is it all on board or some vellum overlay?
All on one board. So they must have done some kind of printing process to put that green background with it. But yeah, it's all on one board.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is great. Like vellum would be okay, but it's nice to have it all together.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic piece. A good night, by the way, Daniel, if you're still there. Good night. Thank you for tuning in. And you too, Carl. Thank you so much. Very appreciate you all the time. Have a great week. And yeah, catch you next week, bud. You sent me an email. Okay, sounds good. I'll talk to you later. And there you go. Aloha. Okay, excellent. Yeah, I'm stunned at you, Steve, that you would be surprised that I would pick that. It's not only about characters, just like it's not always only about the artist. It's the combination of characters.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with that. Like, I just don't think a lot of people would look through it and they'd be like, yeah, I'll pick this Spider-Man page or I'll pick this page. Yeah, but you like Creature Commandos and you picked Aqualad. Not a lot of people would do that.
Okay, I just want to say, I was going to say before you just mentioned that, if you're I could understand if you were shocked that I picked Creature Commandos, but given that it's Perez and it's not just George, but it's Teen Titans adjacent, right? It's affiliated to Teen Titans, so I'm actually shocked that you're shocked that I would pick it.
We'll just be shocked together.
Exactly. Let's be shocked together. Okay, let us keep this going, everybody. Oh, and Rich says even better that it's on one board. Absolutely, a lot of the Who's Who art was on both. Yeah, that kind of I hate it because it doesn't display well, Plus, when it's on like vellum, it's crinkly, it's easy to damage. Yeah, so it's cool that it's on one piece, all on board, and specifically. I think Atlantis later became Wonder Woman's Paradise Island. Don't know why you're saying that, but okay, I'll take that.
Mark is knowledgeable and he wants to share that knowledge.
He is knowledgeable. Ruben the Shocker. Yeah. Hey, remember that? Remember that 90s blue blocker midnight infomercial? Geek. My name is Geek. I put him on as a shocker. Remember that one? Man, I love these blue blockers. No? Okay. Okay. Shot. Nice one, Garvey. All right, let me get to the next one. And the next one is this. And interestingly enough, Marcus asked earlier if there was going to be Stingray art.
I saw that. It was,
yeah. I ignored it because I wanted to surprise him.
You just didn't typically ignore Marcus.
No, exactly.
This is, yet again, Bronze Age weird characters. I do like a lot of the underwater characters. I like Triton. I like Submariner. I like Creature from the Black Lagoon. I always seem to gravitate towards them. I don't think Marie Severin, changing. I don't think Marie Severin gets a lot of love like she should, unless you're deep in the weeds with comic book art. And she did, like, in the Submariner run, if you read it, her and Johnny Craig, I think she had other inkers. I think even her husband inked her for a little bit. Does a great job. Really, really does a wonderful job. If you're looking at it, too, now that you're comparing the printed page versus the ink page, is just like they do such a better job. Just seeing the regular artwork to it, and it's just a nice page. It's a nice page featuring Namor. He's busting out. He's fighting Stingray. He's got the first appearance of Stingray, I want to say, from this book. Marie's even doing some fun stuff where Stingray and Subby are breaking out of that bottom panel, and that wasn't done a lot during that time. It's really got and Marie really had a really nice animation feel to a lot of her work, very cartoony more than anything else, and it's really nice fitting for this page. This one was was listed for, not for sale, but for a long time, and I bugged the guy long enough to finally get it. So happy to get this one.
Oh, very, very cool. Yeah, it's a beauty. It's a beauty in pencils and in inks. Content-wise, it's spectacular. I mean, how much more do you want from a Submariner page? God damn, he's in every single panel.
And I'll tell you, I would not have hunted this down if it didn't have Stingray in it, because he's just a weird character. And Namor's fine, but without Stingray, I probably wouldn't own this, and that's the truth.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, he's like another one of those, like, very sort of like, whatever you call it, tier 4, tier 5, tier 6, whatever characters that I don't know anything about. I don't really care about him, but visually speaking, I would love to have him on a page because he just looks great.
He is cool, and there's a new probably one of these guys will know who he is. He's a nice guy. I've talked to him. There's a collector. He just started. is a Stingray collector.
Oh, really?
He is exclusively looking for Stingray pages.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, there's a Stingray guy. I've got a couple with him, but I wouldn't. Yeah, it's just I think he's a cool character, but probably more from a position. I mean, he's like an ocean biologist that made a suit that lets him swim underwater. I don't think he needs to know more than that. So not the coolest guy, but yeah, visually he's great. I don't know who designed his costume.
Yeah, I don't know either, actually. But wasn't this? So is this not his first appearance?
Yeah, this is his first appearance, but that doesn't mean Severin designed him, though. You know?
No, that's true. But you would think we could, realistically narrow down the choices to either John Romita or Marie Severin, because she was penciling the book. I would think those would be the top two choices anyway. Yeah. So, but yeah, really, really cool design. Real name? What do you mean by that, Cobby?
Stingray's real name, Kasra answered Newell, but I think that's his last name.
Oh, Newell.
Newell.
Like Eddie Newell, the artist? Stingray's in here tonight, missing out. Yeah. You don't say. I don't know what these guys are joking about. His real name is Newell. Okay. His real name is okay. And the jokes are flying now. For me, Stingray is the Jerry Anderson show. What?
I don't know what that is, but Peter's showing his age for sure.
He said it, not me, Peter. I laughed, but he said it, okay? Newell's last post was...
Oh, Newell's must be the Stingray collector.
Sal B. Oh, Sal B. Spidey page, so he doesn't dabble in other stuff. Oh, okay. All right, Peter. Peter's a good sport. He's laughing as well, so that's...
All right.
We're safe.
Thanks, Peter.
That's awesome. Okay. Let us keep it going because we're okay. So it's not going to be 3 hours. Let's see, at least 3.5 should be good. 15 more minutes, Steve. Can you last?
Yeah, I can last.
Okay.
I'm having a good time, and that's saying something. Good. Yeah.
That's great. It's a handful of pieces left, so we'll get there. Okay, the next piece, and I believe Peter, it was you who had asked me who are some of the unsung teams. There are many, right? But the one that I answered you, here's an example of that team. Check it out.
So good. Like this is, I mean, I knew we were going to pick this page because you used it as the background.
Yeah.
So and man, this is yet another one when I first, when you first start collecting and you see what people are listing, there's a couple that you sit there and you kind of keep going back to and you keep drooling over and you just wish you would have. And this was one of them. This was never read the book, knew who Power Man and Iron Fist were, never read the book, but looking at this page, I knew that this is something I wanted in my collection. Knew the guy that owned it, would talk back and forth. Finally, we agreed on a price, and I think this is just an amazing, amazing page. And man, am I a sucker for space in the background of a page.
Oh,
like the front edges are great. I love the tiger. I can't remember the name of the bad guy in the front right up. Master Khan. It's right
Khan,
there.
yeah.
But what really, really, really got me is the space background with the ships and the exploding stars and whatever interstellar. I'm sure they're in a different dimension and not really space. The different specs, the background of this is what sold it to me. You could get rid of Power Man and Iron Fist on this page, and it's still an amazing page.
Yeah,
without even them being on there. I didn't even think that I read the story eventually. It's fine, but really, you don't really need to read the story as much as just look at this opening page. Why they didn't even use this for a cover is beyond me. This is where it's at one point Gamel's work it's in Villamonte are better than what the cover is this title page. The way the tiger's just jumping right at you with Khan staring you straight in the eye, you can actually feel his robes blowing behind him. And I feel like Gamel at one point should have been as good as some of the other Marvel artists that were out there at the time, and he's just unsung compared to some of the other ones. But if you look at this compared to a lot of stuff that was coming out, this is really, really nice artwork, and he never seemed to get his due. Maybe it was Villamonte inking it or whatever else, but some people just are great and they get passed up and never recognized, and I think Kerry Gamel's one of those people.
Yeah, well, Kerry unfortunately unfortunately for comic fans of his art especially, he was always more of a monsters fan rather than superheroes. And so he always wanted to work with monsters. So he would always go back and do things if he could with either movies or books, anything that he could do monster-wise. And yeah.
I remember him being on Marvel Team Up, but what other monster books was he doing? Do you know? Or was he doing like horror?
No, I don't mean monster books. I'm just like, he just loves like the Universal monsters. He loves monsters in general, and he likes to draw monsters. And in a superhero dominated field, it's kind of like, well, there's not much of a choice there. So he would try to work outside the comics field whenever he could, if he got an opportunity to work with monsters, whether that was designing monsters for movies or
I see what you're saying. Yeah. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, because he never, except for Superman in the early 90s, all of his career, he didn't really spend it doing like long runs on any given title.
No, he would do Marvel Team Up issues. That's where I remember a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Sporadic, a few issues here, a few issues there. And that never, when you never get associated on a long run of a popular title, that usually means less popularity for you. The fans don't really catch on as much, But I'll tell you, he was in the same mold as John Byrne when he first broke in. I love that Power Man Iron Fist run, and I noticed right from the beginning when I first got it as a kid, I was like, every now and then I'd look at in certain panels, it'd be like, holy shit, it looks like he's actually imitating Byrne. His anatomy, the way he does the musculature, very, very Byrne-like. I
was going to say that, but I felt like I keep bringing, like, I don't want to keep bringing up, like, been like Byrne, like, it seems like he just gets compared a lot to, like, that's the gold standard for Marvel, and there's other people out there.
But literally in some panels, if I just focused in on that panel and showed you a scan of that face or whatever, I'd be like, who do you think drew this? I would think a lot of people would be like, oh, that's John Byrne, and then if I blew it up, you'd be like, oh shit, Power Man Iron Fist. Who's that? That's not Byrne. Who's that?
Yeah. Who is?
Yeah. But I always used to say back in the 80s, if they put him with Villamonte as an inker, because they were spectacular together, if they would put them on X-Men, I'm like, they would blow up as like the next great art team. But yeah, like I said, they not only did they never do X-Men, but he never got on anything on, other than Superman. Like I said, he never anything regularly and stuck with it long enough to make it, to make a name for himself kind of thing, So, so there you go. Have a nice Gamble Star Wars page I need to post. Jeff and I save it for the month. Save it for next year then. Love the configure work. Yep. His face and arms are fine details and anatomy. Yeah, it's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Heritage hasn't had anything nice like these pieces for a long time. Yeah. And people go after these now. The Cape and Tiger also great. Absolutely. Okay, everybody, let us get going. Just a few more pages and we're done. So I think I may have mistakenly skipped one. Let me see. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Did I ever? Okay. Next piece is I alluded to this earlier in the show, everybody. Let's check out this beautiful piece of, I don't even know what you call this, especially the bottom right-hand portion of this page. Read it, look at it, and weep if you have to.
Oh, this is the one like I like to show Kasra all the time and tell him that he can't have it. I repost this on Facebook every now and again and tag him with it. So this is I like MODOK.
Yeah.
After a while, me and Kasra had a gentleman's agreement, and he got to keep MODOK in the divorce, and I got to keep Machine Man.
Okay.
So that's good. He knows, Kasra knows more about this page, and it's filled me in. My favorite thing to tell you about this page is he talked to Jim Mooney about it, and Jim Mooney didn't remember drawing it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show, it goes to show with what I was saying earlier about how for the majority of these artists, it was just a job. Just whip out the pages. You got to meet your deadlines, whip out the pages, get them done, get them done, get them done. That's it. So it's not like a lot of these guys had an affinity for all these characters the way we do, you know?
And this one I did get super early. And this I remember at the time I got it, it was the most I ever spent on a page. I got this one back in 2009, and a lot of pages around that time I don't even have anymore. That I traded them. I wasn't making the money I have now and couldn't afford everything, so things left and came back. But I did keep this. Mooney and Sinnott are a great team. If you think classic comic book artwork, Mooney and Sinnott working together really have a classic look. And really in that bottom right kissing panel really looks like a really romance comic, the way he set that up. And it does have a whole big romance comic feeling. Really, I mean, I like having this page. This is one of those pages that make me smile when I look at it. It's so weird. It's definitely whoever, I don't remember who wrote it. I don't know if Claremont was writing around this time.
I think so.
To come up with this story, and could you imagine sitting there and go, all right, Jim, you're gonna have MODOK take control, and he's in love with Carol Danvers, and it's gonna be normal, but in that bottom corner you're gonna have them kissing because they're gonna be in love, and then he's gonna worship him right at the bottom. This is why I love comics. This is why I love collecting comic book art. Like I said before, this is just pure fun for me. By
the way, did you notice the comment I had up from Kasra? Yeah, I'll put it back up for you.
Steve just texted and told me to say this is stolen. Luckily I turned my phone off, so if anybody's texting me right now, I'm not getting it. I didn't want to.
Kasra also says that this is the page that your therapist keeps coming back to.
Right. Well, this is the page I keep showing my therapist. Right. So of course, like the first day I go in, I show him I go, why do I like this page so much? Can you unpack this for me, Doc?
Man, Doc, nice, Chuck.
I want to say Berkey had this on his site, and it was $800 in 2009.
How long ago? What year?
2009.
Oh yeah, that's a long time ago though.
And I was like, that's a lot of money for this. And yet again, like the same way I emailed Rob, I was like, should I get this? He goes, yeah, you need to get this right. All you need is one asshole collector. It was $750. No, it was Berkey. I bought it from Berkey, Kasra, 100%. And then give you a little push. And then you're like, I'll get it. All you need is a buddy to tell you to get it.
Well, you did it. And again, this is the kind of page where most of my time in the hobby, I would have been like, are you out of your fucking mind? I'm not blowing money on that shit.
Yeah. but now, I would love you'd have it behind you. You'd have
Yes, I would love to have that just for that bottom kissing panel. Like, what the hell is that? That's insane. So, yeah, would love that, So, that's pretty wild. You never paid me anything for backing off, says Kasra.
Yeah, you know what? That was really. I'm surprised you let it sit there. It did. It was another like back at that time. Things would just sit around, and when you got around to buying it, you bought it.
Yeah, look at Kavi says, anytime I tell a normie about this hobby, I feel like I need a therapist. Or they think you need one. They wanted you to deplete your bankroll so that they can buy the other stuff you liked. Well, I don't know. Steve and Kasra doing you dirty.
For a fake piece back then was a lot of money.
A lot of money.
They're all Alberto. They're actually everything here is fake. By the way,
that's funny. All right, let us keep it going. Next piece, Moon Knight #1, first issue, Bill Sienkiewicz.
This is back in his Neil Adams phase. It's really one of the best, in my opinion, depictions of Moon Knight. You've got his 3 personas at the top. If you looked at it, you wouldn't even guess it was Bill Sienkiewicz before he was coming into his own. Right. The bottom panels are nice, but a little more thrown away. But those top 3 really steal the show. This was one that and it's going to sound like I don't like the guy that I bought it from. But one guy had this on his site, and this was another one that I kept saying, hey, you want to sell, you want to sell. And the guy finally got around to wanting to sell. But I had to email him. He agreed. And then it would be radio silence for a month. And then I'd say, been like, are you sure? Are we going to sell? Yeah. And then he'd get back to me, and then radio silence. And then it ended up, I had to do 2 phone interviews with him on the phone for him to, I think in some way know that it was going to the right person. I never had to get on the phone and talk to somebody and to have somebody, sell me a piece of artwork. But all in all, I'm still friends with the guy. It sounds, but I've never worked so hard for a piece of art. It took almost a year to get it, but I never worked so hard for a piece of artwork like I worked for this page. And I love owning it. I think this is a super historic page, and very, very proud to have it. Yeah, exactly, Marcus. I had to do a job interview to own this. So, if anybody ever wants it, I'll have to interview them before I ever do it. Yeah, this one's really, really great. It almost works like a Who's Who page on the top. You can see you can almost picture the wording about Moon Knight underneath it. It's a great depiction.
Yeah, absolutely. Did he ask you for trivia or credentials?
I felt like it. I remember I got on my cell phone and I'm walking around the block, and it was like a half hour of talking about life and work and this and this and that. And like I said, it's going to sound like I don't like the person. I like the person. He was a very nice guy. But
you can tell us his name if you want, Steve. Don't be shy.
Yeah, but I'm not going to. And then he's not really a collector anymore. He got rid of everything.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah, and he finally, I got him finally to sell. I did. There were even times I would message him, being like, "Don't worry about it. It's done. Don't like." I wanted to be done with it. It was like having a relationship where you're asking the girl, "Are we together? Or are we going to break up?" Because if you're just going to be like this, we could break up. And then he'd come back and say, "Yeah, I'm going to sell it." So it was. It was the most work I ever put into a page. So the story behind getting that is as interesting, I think, as the piece of artwork, to be honest with you. But it's really a really nice historic Bill Sienkiewicz page to own.
For sure. It's fabulous. Fantastic piece to have, man. Congrats, buddy. Yeah.
And yeah, I did have to send a piece sample, Marcus.
All right, everybody. Couple more pieces, everyone. This next one's classic issue. Fabulous. I love it. Check it out.
This is a pure nostalgia piece for me. This was when I was collecting Amazing Spider-Man. One of the favorite issues that I ever got. I loved, this to me is as much to do with Spider-Man as it is with Cobra and Hyde.
Yeah.
You've got you wouldn't even be able to tell this was Romita Jr., and you've got Mooney going over him, totally like probably carrying this kid before he, came into his own. He was probably doing the pencils and whatever else. And it really almost seems more Mooney than it does Romita Jr. trying to be his dad right here. But it didn't matter. This is just one of those wonderful pieces that you remember owning as a kid, and one of those pieces I never thought I would own. I got lucky. I was able to purchase this. I got lucky that I was able to get the money together to get it. It's a really, I'm really delighted to have it. If you were reading Spider-Man at this time, it was they would do these 2-issue blocks. And around this time, I was hooked on comics. I had a great big love for what was going on with Spider-Man, and anything around this time, I was happy to get it. I want to say these issues happened before the Hobgoblin stuff, but I was able to go back and piece them together and get them and reread them. And I still have these issues as a kid. And this one and the Juggernaut two-part storyline, which I'd love to get a page from. Good luck with that. Really make me happy to own.
Sorry, did you just say the Juggernaut?
Yeah, well, remember there was this two-parter. And then
229, 230, I think.
Yeah, and then just even with that, like, I love the Juggernaut issue where
that's the Juggernaut, the Juggernaut issues and these Cobra Hyde issues, fantastic. I think they're very classic, especially since they each had at least one really killer cover. That Juggernaut cover, I'm vaguely thinking it has like concentric circles.
Well, there's one. It's the Juggernaut's face is really big and Spider-Man's real kind of small.
Yes, that's the one. That's classic, right? And then for this story, it's the one with that giant image of Hyde, basically, sort of like posing like they're like a crazy madman.
Well, the other one's good too because it's got Cobra with his legs wrapped around Spider-Man.
Oh, that's true too.
So both of those covers are really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, yet again, Cobra and Hyde being on there is just as much to do with like wanting that page as Spider-Man is.
Right.
I really like those two. I used to have a nice one with Cobra and Hyde fighting Daredevil. Ended up trading that eventually. But I like Serpent Society. I like offbeat villains, and weirder they are, the better. And this falls, and the art's great too. It's hard. You talk about Romita Jr. and Jim Mooney, but it's, you could be like, oh, it's just classic, well done, clean comic book art.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. We're getting to the final piece. Finally, tonight's show and tell. I gotta say, this is probably the best example ever by this artist in the history of his career. And I'm sure you'll all agree. Check this out.
The great sensational She-Hulk issue number 37, where half of it is white pages.
Just FYI, I'm fucking around. That's not the last piece.
Okay. I was happy with that one.
No. Well, tell us a little bit about it, but there is one last piece after that.
Jeff bought that for me. Yeah, he got it in auction. Yeah, Jeff bought that for me, sent it to me, and said, "I thought of you when I got this." That was the end of it. And then I set it up on CAF to be not safe for work, and did this. I can't even remember what I called it. And so I would rickroll people into clicking on it. So that made me very happy. God, what did I say? Hold on one second. I've got I got Sensational She-Hulk number 37, page 24, the best Byrne page of the entire run. and I got the preview disabled, so you had to click on it, and then I would just rickroll people. And I got 15 comments on that one, even from you.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, of course you're gonna comment on that. It's like
You said, "Look at that glorious brushwork."
that's what I said, right?
Yeah. So it's fun. Like I said, or not just that, or Facebook, or wherever you're putting your comic book art, be able to have fun with it. Say goofy stuff. It's just this doesn't all have to be super serious all the time.
No, exactly. And that's what I say. I've been saying it for the last several years. For me now, it's all about fun. Just want to have fun, right? And get as much fun out of the hobby as I can. And fun art brings out fun in me. So yeah, and that's why I like to show these kinds of silly things sometimes, like your MODOK kissing page, and a blank John Byrne page.
Yeah, and they only get more fun with age. They really do.
Yeah. And it's something to talk about, right? It tells a story. That's what makes it fun, for me, anyways. Certainly. So I wonder if that was brush or pen. I'm sure it matters.
He bought another piece for my buddy Steve Crozier, and that one was totally blank.
He got one of so he ended up getting one of the blank ones. Completely
blank. All it had was the title up on it. So yeah, that's the one he got.
That's funny. Margaret says, but if I'm not serious, how will my purchase application be taken seriously?
Yeah, there you go. You got to be serious.
Okay, but for real, everybody, I know Steve's got to get to bed, so let's get to this last piece here. And for this, we are going to a classic artist and one of his favorite characters. So hopefully he's happy with my selection for the last piece. Check it out.
Oh, I am very happy. I put the word Grail on this one.
Yes, you did. Yes. You did that for quite a few pages. That's why,
Okay. Well, this was my, I don't know what year I bought this, but that was the, you get one Grail a year apparently.
Yeah.
And it was for a very, very long time. I wanted a Steve Ditko Machine Man page, and they don't exist. A few have come up in the last year or two. I think it was an auction. I can't remember what house had them, but none as nice as this one. And somebody listed this on eBay, and it was taken down right away. It never sold. Like somebody knew what it was, and they didn't want to list it, whatever else. And I saw it. I had to hunt it down. And then I finally found out, I think it was Metropolis had it. No, I'm sorry. My comic shop had it. And they were selling it on consignment for somebody. And I went back and forth with it. And I was able to purchase it directly, like to hunt it down. And to me, I feel like this page is classic Ditko. It almost has the same feeling as his Amazing Spider-Man pages, with the hero jumping through the first panel and the second. With even being a bit older than what he was doing with Amazing Spider-Man 1980, I really, really think it's got a really nice Ditko feel to it. Really nice movement, layout. It's and it's got one of my favorite characters, Machine Man, in it, and his arms are extending. He's missing an arm on another side. What's really interesting to me about Machine Man too is, if you think about that character, he had his beginnings. He had three of the best comic artists working on him. He started with Kirby, and then he went and Kirby did the first so many issues of it, and then Ditko picked up. And then he took a break for a little bit. 4 years later, Barry Windsor Smith started, Trimpe, and then Barry Windsor Smith started working on Machine Man. You really got a triumvirate of three really, really great artists working on a D-list, C or D-list character. And I always found that really intriguing too from his beginnings. So yeah, very happy to own this page. was really hunting for it for quite a long time. And I still have yet to see a better Ditko Machine Man pages. No idea if a lot of them don't even exist anymore. Was he keeping them, in a bird cage somewhere? Who knows what Ditko was doing with these things. But very, very, like I said, very, very happy to own this guy.
That's fantastic, man. Well, I'm happy that you were happy that I chose that and kept it as the final piece for the show and tell. So, yeah, it's not not something that disappointed you. I'm happy. That's all I can say.
No, and not a lot of people. I mean, not a lot of Machine Man Ditko pages out there. Like I said, I don't know if somebody owns them all or they just don't exist.
I would think, given the year they were drawn, I would think they absolutely exist. As to why they never really ever came out, maybe those were some of the ones that were shipped to him, and he just sort of left it.
Back in the day, you could write Steve Ditko a letter, and he would always reply back to you.
Oh yeah, for years and years you could do that.
I wrote him a letter asking. And all I got was a postcard back, and it said, "I don't own any Machine Man pages, SD," and that's it. That's that. I got yeah.
Wow. So you wrote to him to ask him about whether he had those pages or not?
Yeah. Wow. I wrote him,
and he just said
he always believed in writing everybody back.
Yeah.
So I have a card that says I don't have any Machine Man pages, SD. That he sent back to me, and I believe him. He does not seem like whoever had him, he doesn't have them anymore.
That's so crazy, because now I would have said they're probably sitting in his family's cupboard somewhere. But if he never had them, why haven't they ever come out? That's crazy. Yep. Where would they be?
Only a handful.
Yeah, that's very, very crazy. Lee says, "Thanks for sharing your collection with us, Steve, and great selections as usual, Ruben." Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Lee.
It's in your gallery. One. It's got one. Yeah.
The post. Yep. You can find it
there. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So thank you, Kavi. Thanking you for the art and the stories. You're very welcome, of course, on my behalf, certainly. I don't think Steve welcomes you.
No, me and you are going to have words later, Kavi.
That's it. He's like, fuck Kavi. Fuck that guy. I don't like to make those pages public. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah, right. You got him. Okay. Yeah, that'll be the day. But
he's going to have a Machine Man dump tomorrow, probably.
That's right. Oh, we're going to see a big Ditko Machine Man dump on Cap just to piss us all off and blow us away, But hey, everybody, thank you, Rich. Appreciate it,
guys. Thank you for showing up.
Steve, can you still hang with me for a couple of minutes after we go off the air?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Join the club of my haters. You got a lot of haters, Coffee? Come on, I don't believe that. But yeah, thanks everybody. Really, really appreciate you. We had a really great. We always have a great crowd, but a larger crowd than usual tonight. So thank all of you who. Well, first of all, my regulars, you know who you are, obviously, and my semi-regulars. Can't thank you enough, as always. Thank you to those of you who came in to support Steve. This was your first time.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Always the more the merrier, so that's really cool. And thank you, Stephen Rubin. Oh, excellent art, Steve. Even the Creature Commando page. Dump it. The really, if you feel after. Will be legendary. A lot of legendary talk tonight, Marcus, for sure. Lots of nuts and bolts in a Machine Man dump. That's true. Okay, yeah. Good night from Lee again. Thanks, Ruben and Steve. Steve, it was great to see those pages in your collection. Says Alberto. He's finally being nice for a change. Look at that. Peter says, nice getting to know you, Steve. So there you go.
Yeah, Peter, nice getting to know you too.
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, so thank you as always, everybody. Really appreciate you all. And those of you who watch on Rewind, of course, who can't make it, see if you can make it live. Sometimes that's where all the fun is. Yes, it's long. But the reason it's long is it's because we all talk. It's not just a show about showing artwork, and talking about it. It's a show about everybody just hanging out and having a good time together. That's what it's all about. And that's why, for those of you who are not sure as to why the episodes last as long as they do, that's the reason. It's because of all the talking we do amongst ourselves. So try to check out a live stream at some point, if you can, you Rewind viewers, please. And you're more than welcome. Oh, a new guy chiming in for the first time as we're signing off. Ken Bennett.
That's a really, really good friend of mine from high school. Oh,
awesome.
Great school.
Wow. There you go. Yeah, thank you for coming in and supporting your dude there, Ken. Thank you. That's awesome. And fun show, great collection. Thanks, guys. Thank you as always, Rick. Appreciate you. Not sure why you said, because you suggested that Peter he needs a Creature Commando page, right? Yeah, have a good week, everybody. Have a good week, and I will leave you out. We will go out. I will leave you with the thumbnail for next week's show. As I'm looking for that, I just wanted to say also happy birthday to Ellison. Happy 3rd birthday, sweetheart. I miss you, and hopefully you'll see you someday. And from there, we will go to this. So next week, same time, same channel, Comic Art Show and Tell number 51, The Art of Science Fiction and Fantasy, with our old buddy, the Neon Dragon. So that'll be, by the way, Neon Dragon loves the thumbnail that I created for him. He thinks it's the best one I've ever done. He wants to know what you all think. So make sure you let him know next week when you come back to check out the show. So that's it, everybody. Have a great week. Be safe out there. And we will see you all next week. Don't forget to check out James Siegel. All right. So on Nikki B's show this coming Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And happy birthday to Mikhail as well today. Mikhail, happy birthday, my friend. Wish you would have told us how old you are. But yes, have a great one, Mikhail. I hope you had a great day so far.
Mikhail's timeless. He's timeless.
Yeah, Caesar says, great show, great art, Steve. See you all in San Diego. That's right. Have a great time in San Diego. Those of you who are going, of course. Absolutely. And later, number 1 Marvel fan, appreciate you. Take it easy. And have a great week. And we'll see you back here next Sunday. Go Blue.